Why, hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, thank you so much for joining me and welcome to tonight's stream. It's time for some more Paradigm Paradox. It's time for us to martyr our boy again. Well, we're not the one martyring the boy. He is the one martyring himself. But it's time for some more of I don't actually remember his name. We'll find it out later. Baba. All right, with that, let's move over here. Hello. It's me. And we're getting ready to jump back into Paradigm Paradox. Let's see if I remember our boy's name. Kamui! I should remember Kamui. That's a name I know very well from other characters, but whatever. From that day on, it became my routine to go to the chem prep room and bring Kamui food after the broadcast finished. As a quick recap of everything that's been going on currently in Kamui's route, he has the power of future sight, and he has basically gotten roped into doing broadcasts talking about his future sight for the day. Excuse me, so that people don't feel scared about going outside and they won't be attacked by monsters, except it's really wearing on him. So we're being a good friend and bringing him cough drops and things like that, and now food too. At first, I brought green tea and cough drops as he requested.
Waiting! Happy 10 months! Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for being a Melrose Nyan. It's time to martyr our boy. And then probably the next thing I'm gonna pick up 13 Sentinels again. I'm gonna pick it up again. Oh.
もう教室に帰っちゃうの？そうだ。どうせだったらここで俺と一緒にお昼食べようよ。中庭と違って人もいなくて静かだし、俺のこと独り占めできちゃうよ。お得でしょ？
Now what a deal.
お、あともう一押しって感じ？その他のおすすめポイントとしては、なんとお互いのことにもっと詳しくなれちゃうんですね。
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stream tomorrow. Most likely not gonna be able to because I will be spending most of the day with my Earth family. But I believe Monday I will be able to stream. So Monday, I am going to do some 13 Sentinels. Hello, Jigglypuff! Hello! Good morning!
よく考えたら俺、君が好きなものってまだサンドイッチしか知らないんだよね。
Yeah. Ooh, you're leading the bean race. You're leading the toe bean stamp race.
ここで俺と一緒にお昼食べながら、君のこともっと教えて。
Oh, my. I was pleased to hear that Kamui wanted to get to know me like I wanted to get to know him, so I quickly agreed. From then on, we ate lunch together in the prep room, chatting the entire time. Well, that's a fast track into falling in love. I managed to snag the last roast cutlet sandwich. It sells out pretty fast on days they give out extra portions. I wonder if Kamui got one too. I pushed open the door to the prep room with excitement and heard Kamui talking.
はいはい、それさっきも聞いたから。
Yeah.
え？何？
Yeah, I want to play it so bad. But I have to be a good boy. I have to be a good boy and play my games in order.
わかってるよ。そろそろ俺もそっちに行こうと思ってたところです。
Yeah. He's talking to someone on the phone.
I was about to turn around and leave until Kamui noticed the open door and waved me over.
I do have a list. I have...
So we're working on Paradigm Paradox. Then I also have to do Love or Pretend.
Yeah. Well, I usually play the Diabolic Lovers games on my own time, and I haven't even had a moment to do those. Then I have Norn 9, Winter's Wish, and then Jackson, and then Charade Maniacs. But I also have some PC Otome games to play. Like I have Steam Prison that I haven't played yet. We also have Oz Mafia that I haven't played yet. Like we've got a fair amount of Otome games to play.
Is it really okay for me to be here?
どうぞどうぞ現地取ってくださいな。うん。ね。いや、急に言われても。わかったわかった。ダメ元で聞いてみるから。はいはい。そろそろ通話切るよ。昼飯食べる時間なくなっちゃうからさ。
But yeah, the Diabolic, I did get my Diabolic limited edition. My Dialovers limited edition. I'm excited. There's a lot going on. First, I was like, I'm gonna play every character in the game. I'm gonna play all the roots in the game before I move on to the next one. And now I'm thinking I may just go ahead and play Reiji on every game and just do it. Yeah?
Hello!
Yeah. Oz Mafia has the Dialovers art style, and I've heard it's kind of a little bit like Dialovers in like the craziness. So I'm excited to hopefully be able to play that on stream. We're romancing our martyr boy.
Whew.
Yeah.
I tried not to eavesdrop, but I could tell whoever Conley was talking to was someone close to him. Although what he said was a bit harsh, his tone was much gentler than usual.
わかった。そっちも元気で。八つ橋ばっか食べてないで。野菜も食べなよ。
I haven't actually seen much of anything about B Pro other than like some art. I'm always like, who are these characters?
I don't need more Idol Boy animes though. I don't need more Idol Boy animes, but I'm gonna get more Idol Boy animes apparently.
あのね、また健康診断に引っかかりたいわけ？はいはい。じゃあまたね。
Me making my wish list of goods and items as if I am not planning to be probably moving next year.
I'm just like, yeah, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and I want this,
and my wallet is crying. I haven't bought anything yet, but my wallet is crying at even the thought of everything, and especially at the thought of trying to move all of that stuff. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not full up in my current apartment, except for art supplies, but art supplies take up a fucking ton of room, and it's not fair.
It's not fair. I've got all my resin supplies when I was hyper-focused on resin. Here's the ADHD bit. And then I have all my sewing supplies when I was hyper-focused on sewing, and I have my knitting supplies when I was hyper-focused on knitting. And I shouldn't be...
Yeah, Wallet-kun will understand.
But also, I've got, like... I've got a lot of art supplies. I've got supplies from when I was beading, and I've been seeing a lot of stuff about getting into quilting, and I'm like, I don't need more art supply hobbies. Stop it, brain. Stop it.
Conley hung up and let out a huge sigh.
相変わらず話長。あ、立たせっぱなしにしてごめんね。こっちに座ってお昼にしよう。
Sorry for interrupting your phone call.
気にしないで。大丈夫。相手はじいちゃんだから。
じいちゃん? Your grandfather?
ところで君、週末って空いてる？
Don't skip past the fact that you're talking to a family member. I thought you said you only had one family member. But am I free this weekend? I am, but...
ほんと？ラッキー。じゃあ、じいちゃん家に遊びに来ない？
What? We're gonna go visit his grandpa? You want me to visit your grandfather?
うん。父方の祖父なんだけど、何かっていうと友達を連れてこいってうるさいんだよね。
Oh, okay.
ここんとこ顔を見せに行けてなかったから、業を煮やして電話してきたみたい。 ほん
Whoops, I didn't mean to skip that line. Sorry, sir.
Calmly shrugged like it was no big deal, but I could tell from his expression that deep down he was truly happy. He must really love his grandfather. I wonder what kind of person he is. I tried to imagine what he might be like, but I couldn't. It was hard to picture stuff like that when I didn't have any grandparents of my own.
君さえ嫌じゃなければどうか
For a
な
reminder. Game Prince. Yeah.
It'd really be okay for me to go?
もちろんだよ。じいちゃんのことだから可愛い子が来たって喜ぶと思うし。
Please don't let your grandfather hit on me. That would be too weird.
休みの日もセナの放送はあるからお昼と夕方の放送の間になるけどいい
Okay, fine.
Sure, I'm looking forward to it.
俺も
Calmly nodded happily as if he were savoring the moment, which I guess was because he'd be seeing his grandfather for the first time in a while.
Oh, Prince, we're so stupid. All right.
When the weekend arrived, Calmly and I decided to stop by the mall and pick up some gifts for his grandfather. Castella, cream puffs, yokan. Your grandfather must really love sweets.
そうなんだよ。もっぱら和菓子派かな。洋菓子は口に合わんとかいうタイプでね。でも俺は知っている。俺が手土産に買っていったショートケーキを冷蔵庫に入れておくと、
What is this voice?
その日の夜にはじいちゃんの胃袋に収まっていることを。
What are you telling like a ghost story? What is this voice?
Calmly, yep. I'm smart.
Calmly suddenly started talking like he was telling a ghost story, making me shiver involuntarily. Really? I just thought it sounded weird.
So what you're saying is your grandfather really likes whipped cream? Calmly nods gravely, but then flashes me a broad grin.
本人は隠したがってるみたいなんだけどね。渋いイメージを保ちたいとか言ってたかな。かっこつけなんだよ、じいちゃん。いや、それにしても君、実は何気にノリがいいよね。
Yeah?
Do I? I guess it's because the way you talk is so fun.
照れた顔もいいな。
What?
こんな可愛い子と一緒に歩けるなんて。俺今優越感すっごいもん。
Huh? Do you like me or not, dude? When in actuality, Kamli's the one grabbing all the attention every time he walks by a woman. There were two women from earlier who kept turning around and saying, "Did you see that guy? He's so cute."
ん？俺の顔何かついてる？
Yeah. Obliviousness. Nope, totally clear. Anyway, you think you got enough?
ああ、うん。さすがにこれだけ持っていけばじいちゃんに独り占めされないと思うんだよね。
Alright then, let's take these gifts and...
ちょっと待った。最後に雑貨屋さんも覗いていこうよ。
The department store? I hope you didn't buy things that needed to stay cold.
Which one?
カステラを買ったお店の隣にあったでしょ？
Huh?
何か欲しいものがあったんじゃない？
Pardon? What? Was this just an excuse to take me on a shopping date? Huh? How do you know?
ショップの前を通るときに足が遅くなったし、キラキラした目でドア越しに中を見てたなーって。
Wow!
俺はチラッと見ただけだけど、金魚鉢みたいなグラスとか可愛かったよね。
He saw me. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Is it? Is it? I don't think that's embarrassing. I think that's a pretty normal human thing to see something and go, "Oh, cute." He noticed my interest and knew exactly what I've been looking at.
また一つ、君が好きなもの発見。ああいう雑貨？小物が好きなんだね。
Yeah, I do. I'd often go lazy and...
I tried to explain, but my throat started to burn and my words got stuck. Tears immediately pricked the back of my eye, so I immediately looked down at the ground.
I'm sorry, I think the dust got in my eye. It was an obvious ruse, but Calmly didn't say anything. I have to look back up. But my vision blurred again. It looked like my body wasn't gonna listen to me.
悲しくて やるせないことってさ、少し落ち着いた頃ににじみ出てきたりするんだよね。
Well, that's
あれっ
just
て何なんだろうな。
that's just grief, sadly. I felt his big warm hand touch my shoulder as his gentle voice consoled me.
無理に話そうとしなくていいよ。誰かに吐き出したいなら別だけど、そういう時
No,
ちゃんと話せる人はいる？
not
ご
really.
家族とか。
I don't.
No.
I don't have any family. I haven't since I was little.
I thought we told him this.
I didn't plan on telling Kamui any of this. I knew it would worry him, but I found that once the dam broke loose, I couldn't stop. I have a guardian who I call Uncle Yashima. He's the only one I could consider family. But he lives far away, so we only ever communicate via email. I've never met him in person. He refuses to send me any pictures of himself. He says he's too embarrassed, and he says he doesn't like the phone. I attempted to smile and say I knew it was surprising, but my face twitched, morphing my expression as something strange.
ごめん、俺無神経だったね。
That's okay. Oh, no, don't apologize. I shouldn't have bothered you, but you're just so easy to talk to.
本当？光栄だな。
Conley.
ねえ、俺でよければ聞かせて。
Don't we have to go to your grandfather?
ここは少しうるさいから場所を変えよっか。
But we have to go see your grandpa. Like, we have a time limit.
Sure.
Okay. Fuck.
Conley and I made our way to the residential district, and the hustle and bustle of the mall instantly vanished.
俺もね、両親がいないんだ。
Oh, we gotta bond over being orphans.
Really? I looked up at Conley in surprise. He gave me a sad smile as our eyes met.
唯一の肉親がじいちゃんなんだ。関海高等学園に合格して学生寮に入るまではずっと二人で暮らしてた。だから寂しいって思ったことはなかったかな。今もなんだかんだ会いに帰ってるしね。
Uh-huh. I had Lise, so I didn't feel lonely when I entered the academy either. My voice shook, though I was trying to keep my emotions at bay. Conley probably noticed, but he just smiled gently at me and nodded.
君にとってリーゼちゃんは大切な存在なんだね。
Yeah. She was actually kind of like you in some ways.
そうなんだ。どんなところ？
She liked to make others smile. She always tried to make me happy.
友達思いの素敵な子だね。
Very much so, but though she was my best friend, I wasn't even able to celebrate her birthday. And in the end, I wasn't even able to save her. I've tried to rally and move on so that I can fulfill my duty with the blooms, but sometimes it feels like I can't even stand up.
うん。
I couldn't protect Lise. She's gone because of me. Well, not really. So why am I still here? Why do I get to smile and be happy? I think about that all the time. I never told anyone this because it would seem like I wanted pity. So I buried it deep in my heart and lied to myself to get by until today. But then I feel like I'm using Lise as an excuse, and that causes me to freeze up even more. When I said that, I realized I'd come to a standstill without even knowing it. Lise's shadow was no longer walking beside me. But when I turned around, I saw Kamli's shadow facing me.
俺とリーゼちゃんが似てるなら、きっと彼女も君には笑っていてほしいって願ってると思うよ。
Fury welled inside me for a brief moment. Why? You wouldn't know anything about that. I knew I was just taking my anger out on Conley, but I couldn't stop myself. You never met Lise, so don't talk like you know her.
わかるよ。
There was no hesitation in Conley's voice.
確かに俺はリーゼちゃんと親しくなかったし、彼女のこともよく知らないけど。
We're dealing with a lot of grief in this story. Wow.
でもね、君の親友だから。だから、わかるよ。
Oh.
君がリーゼちゃんのことを思うように、 彼女も君のことを思ってた。そんな子が君の不幸を望むかな。
That's not... おかえりって、また何か悩んでる？眉間にシワが寄ってるよ。
What do I? Nothing's bothering me though.
だとしても、そんな顔になっちゃうなら街に遊びに行こうよ。楽しいことすれば笑顔になれるでしょ。
As I sifted through my memories, I saw how Lise always worried about me and tried to brighten my day. I'm sorry,
謝らないで。君は謝るようなことしてないんだからね。それよりね、前から気になってたけど、君は自分に我慢させすぎ。
Kami gently flicked my forehead. I stared up at him, startled at this unexpected turn of events. He just looked down at me with a slight frown.
思うところがあるならもっと小出しに。筋肉と一緒で使わないと衰えていくから、そのうち心から笑ったり怒ったりできなくなるよ。
Aww, Kamui, he's very, very sweet.
わかった？
Yeah. Though I was overwhelmed, Kamui's face broke out into a smile when he saw me agree. Oh, my shoulder popped.
ま、全部じいちゃんの受け売りなんだけど。
Yeah, we should go visit your grandfather now. He sounds like a wonderful person.
普段はただの頑固な甘党だけどね。まあでも。
Codger? Codger? What the fuck's that word? I haven't seen. Well, I've seen that, but I've never seen it pronounced.
じいちゃん、
Seen it? Heard it.
人を喜ばせるのも好きなんだよね。それこそ俺の数倍は。
Uh-oh.
君が来たら格好の餌食だね。
Yeah-oh. Target.
じいちゃんのことだから、あの手この手で君の笑顔を見ようと躍起になるはず。
Oh.
微力ながら俺も応援するよ。
Aww. I want to see our flowchart. Okay, I think we'll be able to finish this today. Whose side are you on?
じいちゃんに決まってるじゃない。俺も君の笑顔が見たいもん。
Kamui, you're so...
何？俺がどうかした？
Never mind. I was just thinking that you keep saying things girls would like to hear.
え？そうかな。俺は思ったことを言っただけなんだけど。
Uh-huh.
でも、君に喜んでもらえたならよかった。
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You're so unnecessarily optimistic.
そんなに褒められると照れちゃうな。ほら、じいちゃんの家までもう少しだよ。
Oh, we were actually headed to your grandfather's place. I thought we'd just sat down and stopped. Kamui walked ahead in high spirits as if he might start humming a jaunty tune any minute. I felt a bit dizzy as I followed him. So he wants to see me smile. Lise, I think I love ya.
私も大好きだよ。
Aww. I'll always love you. I mumbled that to myself while looking up at the sky. I didn't hear any response, but felt a cool breeze caress my cheek. Aww. Oh, wow.
じいちゃん、ただいま。
You put on a new coat. Or took off your other coat.
Hello.
Whoa, that's a dude.
My nerves jittered as I followed calmly into the house.
The person who greeted us was so spry, it didn't seem right to call him an old man.
やっと来たか。ちっとも顔を見せないで。向こうで悪さしとったんじゃないだろうな。
Uh-oh.
じいちゃん、いきなり説教は勘弁してよ。だいたい何？悪さって心当たりないんだけど。
カムイ、情けない声出すんじゃない。わしが何も知らないと思ってるのか？この間小テストで赤点を取っただろう。
Kamui!
なんで知ってんの？あ、いや。
Uh-huh.
学園から連絡が来とったぞ。 どうせまた女の子と遊び歩いていたんだろう。中学の頃は勉強一筋だったのにな。
You helpless flirt.
ガリ勉時代の話はやめて。それに今だって成績は中の中だから。
You had a nerdy phase?
赤点はほんとたまたま。あの時だけだって。
So cute. Their rapid fire exchange stunned me into confusion. Hanbui's so relaxed around his family. It looks like they're having so much fun.
おお、なるほどなるほど。女の子と遊び歩いていたのは否定しないわけか。まったく誰に似たんだか。ん
I peeked out from behind Conley and immediately met his grandfather's eyes. I jumped a bit and hurriedly bowed.
カムイ、お前の後ろにいる子は？
もっと早く気づこうよ。
I was hidden.
俺の友達だよ、高梨ちゃん。
Hi. Yes, pleased to meet you. I'm Prince Takanashi. Conley's been a good friend to me.
おお、可愛らしいだけじゃなくしっかりしたお嬢さんじゃないか。カムイ、でかしたぞ。はじめまして、カムイの祖父の善治です。よく来てくれたね。
Conley's grandfather seemed so strict earlier, but his demeanor instantly changed when he gave me a broad, warm smile.
いやー、こんな可愛い子が孫だったらな。そうだ、せっかくだしわしのことはじいちゃんと呼んでくれないかな。
じゃないよ。I was glad he said that, but I didn't know quite how to react, so I ended up just mumbling incoherently.
じいちゃん、いきなり何言ってんだよ。ほら、彼女困ってるだろ。
No, it's fine, but how about I just call you Mr. Zenji?
じいちゃん呼びもいいと思ったが、こんな可愛い子に名前で呼んでもらえるなんて、いやー嬉しいな。
Mr. Zenji gave a hearty laugh and then turned to me with a wink. Huh? Wow, he looks just like Conley. They're so alike.
うわ、俺にもウインク飛んできたんだけど。
Oh, yeah?
Conley brushed off his shoulder as if his grandfather's wink had somehow hit him. Mr. Zenji arched an eyebrow, preparing for a counterattack.
お前がそんなところに突っ立ってるのが悪い。避けるくらいしたらどうだ。
Oh my god, is this Ken Iki again?
はあ？っていうかじいちゃん、いい年して鼻の下伸ばすなよな。
そういうお前こそ、そのデレッとした締まりのない顔がどうにかならないのか。
失礼な。もともとこういう顔です。
鏡を見てこい、鏡を。おまけに相変わらずチャラチャラした格好で、お前はどこを目指しているんだ？
羨ましいなら素直に言えばいいのに。俺が通ってるショップ紹介しよっか。
そういうのを減らず口と言うんだ。意味はわかるか？じいちゃんが教えてやろうか。
じいちゃんこそ減らず口を叩いちゃって。いいじゃん、高校デビューならぬジジイデビューを決めちゃいなよ。
高校デビューじゃないよ。ジジデビュー。
Oh my god. Whoa, they don't hold back. They probably can only do that because they really love each other. Conley and Mr. Zenji's fiery exchange warmed my heart. Though that's what it means to be a family.
しょうもないことを。ほら見ろ、彼女も呆れて笑ってるぞ。
違うって、じいちゃんに呆れてんの。しょうもないこと言ってんのはそっちだから。だよね。遠慮しないで君からもバシッと言ってやって。
I don't think either of you are ridiculous. I was just thinking about how close you two are.
はい？ないない、仲良くないって。
よし、小遣い減らすか。
嘘嘘、待って。俺とじいちゃんはね、そらもう仲良しだよ。ご近所でも評判のじいちゃんと孫だから。
Oh my god, they're so Is that right? I'm so jealous. It was fun to watch two people so totally in sync with each other.
続いては日々私たちに余地を伝えてくれているセナ
Uh
さ
oh.
んの特集をお届けします。
Uh oh. Mr. Zenji's TV was on, and I noticed a news program was doing a story about Senna.
皆さんおはようございます。朝からお昼までの
Okay, we've already heard that before. Kamui and I fell silent for a moment.
おお、セナちゃんの特集か。
Mr. Zenji, almost. Mr. Zenji turned to the TV excitedly and watched the feature, unaware of our reaction.
この子は可愛いな。せがれの嫁に少し似ているんだよ。
What?
そう思わないか、カムイ。
そうかな。似てるといえば似てる気がしなくもなく。君はどう思う？
Huh? I don't know what your mom looks like. Why the fuck would I know that?
Huh? Well, I guess she looks a bit like your mother now that you mention it.
冗談がうまいな。カムイはともかく、君は顔を知らんだろう。
Yeah. Oh, alright. Senna's sudden appearance was enough to throw me off balance, even though she was only on screen. Luckily, Mr. Zenji just took my ramblings as a joke. I felt relieved and turned towards Kamui. Our eyes locked and he mouthed, sorry. I just flashed him a bemused smile in response.
セナさんは予知能力によって害獣から私たちを守ってくれているいわば女神のような存在。さらにそのルックスも相まって若者を中心に人気を集めているそうなんです。
The program started showing straight interviews and Mr. Zenji watched with rapt attention.
さすがセナちゃん、すごい人気っぷりだな。ファン第1号としてわしも鼻が高い。
Oh my god, this old man is Senna's #1 fan. Alright.
いやいや、どうやって1号とか決まったわけ？彼女が人気なのは確かみたいだけどさ。
Kamui smiled wryly as he teased his grandfather again, but I could tell he was secretly pleased. He obviously can't reveal Senna's true identity, but he must be happy about how much his grandfather likes Senna.
I should give him some privacy since Kamui said he hasn't visited in a while. Mr. Zenji, would you mind if I used your kitchen? I can make some tea if you like.
そうだった。じいちゃんにお土産を買ってきたんだ。カステラにシュークリーム、羊羹。どう？俺のセレクトバッチリでしょ。
Kamui handed over the bag of sweets. Mr. Zenji unexpectedly frowned.
八つ橋はどうした？売り切れか？
いや、じいちゃんのことだから常備してあるだろうと思って買ってこなかったんだけど。
Oh yeah, what about your stash?
何？もしかしてやけ食いでもした？どうせまたご近所さんで集まって将棋大会でもして前回同様準決勝で負けたんでしょう。
Shogi contest.
何を言う。今回は決勝まで勝ち上がったぞ。勇猛果敢に攻め続け相手を追い詰めたんだが最後の詰めが甘くてちょうど茶葉も切らしていたところだ。カムイ、ちょっと行って買ってきなさい。
あからさまに話をそらしたね。
君はここに残ってわしの話し相手になってくれるかな。
Oh no, please don't leave me with people I don't fully know. This is like my worst nightmare.
そうしてあげてくれる？じいちゃん一度言い出すと聞かないんだ。誰に似たのかな、ほんと。
何を言ってるんだ。お前も一度言い出したら聞かないだろうが。西原家の血だな。
Is it alright for Kamui to go? I wanted him to have some time with Mr. Zenji.
I hesitated, partway out of my chair, and Kamui placed his hand on my shoulder.
君はお客さんなんだし座っててよ。
Okay.
Kamui gently pushed me back down.
Are you sure you can take care of it?
もちろん。それに
Oh,
ほら
true.
じいちゃんお気に入りの茶葉なんて俺じゃなきゃわからないでしょ。すぐに帰ってくるから、
True.
それまでじいちゃんをよろしくね。
Alright, this might suck. I apologize in advance.
Sure thing.
カムイ、ゆっくりでいいぞ。その間にわしがお前の恥ずかしい過去を彼女に語り聞かせておくからな。
Oh, this could be bad.
本当にすぐ帰ってくるからマッハで。じいちゃん、彼女に変なこと言うなよ。
I'll ask him to only tell me the weird ones.
Alright, see you soon.
Kamui looked like he wanted to say more, but he just ran out the door. He probably figured it was best to come back as soon as possible.
まったくお使い一つで大騒ぎだ。
Mr. Zenji shrugged with a sigh, but his gentle expression was exactly what I imagined a grandfather's would be. If I had a grandfather, maybe he'd be like this. Mr. Zenji and I were left in the living room. Aside from the news program, all was silent.
さて、わしらはお茶でも飲んで、ゆっくりカムイを待つことにしよう。
I knew we weren't out of tea leaves. Mr. Zenji stood up as he made the suggestion. Huh? But you said you were out of tea leaves.
ああ、切れたのは来客用の茶葉でね。だから、わしが普段飲んでいるものになるんだが、それでもいいかな。
Of course.
せっかくだからカステラも切ろうか。待ってる間テレビでも見て待っててくれるかな。好きな番組に切り替えていいからね。
Oh, sir. Mr. Zenji was so effortlessly considerate that I didn't think twice about agreeing. He's very thoughtful. It's obvious that Kamui learned a lot from him growing up. Mr. Zenji and Kamui insisted I was a guest, so I decided to accept that and wait in the living room. On the news program, they'd just finished the street interviews, and now the announcer was back in the studio with a commentator.
夜間のみならず新たに昼間にも出現するなど害獣側の動きにも変化が見られる中、セナさんの予知の力が与える安心感は大きいですね。
セナさんによる予知の放送に関しては当初かえって住民の不安を煽るのではないかとの否定的な意見も一部で聞かれました。しかし現在に至るまでセナさんの予知は的中率 100% を記録しており、そういった懸念を払拭した形です。
I can already the story's already pointed out.
とはいえ今後予知が外れるようなことがあれば住民は無防備な状態で害獣と遭遇することになり、
I switched off the TV, not wanting to hear anymore. They didn't have to phrase it like that. Even if Senna's prediction is wrong, what happens after is not her fault. The whole program was framing her as some kind of goddess-like hero. Just what are the higher-ups trying to do with her? The whole situation put me in a dismal mood, and I looked around the room without really focusing on anything. You know, it's oddly calming here. This is where Kamui grew up, huh? There were traces of Kamui everywhere, from the marks on the doorframe that recorded his height to the various crayon drawings hung about the room. Oh, is that a photo of Kamui when he was a kid? It must be. He looks exactly the same. He also looks like he was a handful. The boy in the picture grasped a younger Mr. Zenji's arm with a big grin on his face. It's nice that they have these photos still.
いや、お待たせ。
Zenji returned right after I'd spoken those words out loud. Oh, thank you. My response was slightly delayed, but Mr. Zenji didn't seem to mind as he laid out the teacups. Well, this is either going to be great or really, really awkward.
まだ暑いから気をつけるんだよ。カステラもお茶もおかわりがあるから遠慮なくゼンジさんに言ってくれ。
Don't tell me that, I'll eat the whole cake. Then I'll do just that. The tension in my shoulders released as I laughed. I drew in a deep breath and reached for the cup. As I blew on the tea to cool it down, Mr. Zenji started chatting with me.
カムイと仲良くしてくれてありがとう。あいつは学園で元気にやっているかな。
I don't know, I don't pay attention. I wanted to say yes, but I remembered how exhausted Kamui has been lately. I waffled over what to tell him. I'd only seen them together a short amount of time, but it was clear how much Kamui and his grandfather cared about each other. I didn't want to lie to Mr. Zenji, but I didn't want to worry him either, so I forced myself to smile. Kamui's well liked at the academy. All the students think he's good looking, and he's friendly to everyone, even the underclassmen. He also seems really popular with the girls, and I always see them gathering around him in the courtyard during lunch. I tried to describe things more from Mr. Zenji, but I never said that Kamui was doing well. I wonder if Mr. Zenji finds it weird. I looked up to gauge his reaction and saw a kind expression on his face.
カムイは本当にいい友人を持ったな。
Uh-oh. Yeah.
あいつが何か隠し事をしているらしいというのは気づいていたんだが。
Oh.
電話した時のカムイは元気というにはわざとらしくてな。空元気というのかな。頑張りすぎてる感じがしたんだよ。
So Mr. Zenji noticed. Well, of course he did, their family. That, coupled with the commentator's inconsiderate remarks on the TV earlier, made me feel even more ill at ease. I'm sorry for not telling you right away. I also think Kamui's been working too hard lately. No one could know about the Bloom's mission, not even family members. So I stayed as vague as possible when trying to explain how Kamui's been since Senna's broadcast started. Kamui has this special
Well, he took on this big job at the academy and has been working hard on it every day. Only a select group of students are able to do it. Kamui willingly volunteered for it because he wanted to help others. But he's obviously being overworked. The way I see it, Kamui's getting more worn out by the day. But he's just ignoring it. He refuses to take care of himself. Mr. Zenji listened to me in silence and then heaved a sigh.
カムイがそうなったのはあれの生い立ちに原因があるんだ。
Eh? I startled when I heard the word upbringing. Oh?
俺もね、両親がいないんだ。
Yeah, when we found out that he's an orphan too. Kamui revealed that fact to me before we went to his grandfather's house. He also said he never felt lonely because Mr. Zenji was always there for him.
少し昔話を聞いてもらえるかな。
I think you should be asking that to Kamui and not me. Should I really listen to all this when Kamui's not here? But I do want to know more so I can help him feel better. I shook off my hesitation and gave Mr. Zenji a determined nod.
ありがとう。
Mr. Zenji took a sip of his tea and paused for a moment. Then he slowly started talking about Kamui's past. Well, it's time for the past section. We get to learn more about why our boys are traumatized. Oh, hey, we're on 3-1. Nice.
カムイはわしにとってたった一人の孫でね。
They died, didn't they?
ごくごく平凡な家庭でのびのびと育ったんだ。
I'm gonna guess they died in a vector attack.
カムイの両親はとても仲が良く、あいつもそんな二人のことが大好きだった。ただカムイの母親は体が弱くてね、定期的に通院していたんだが、ある時研究機関で検査を受けることになったんだ。それまでも大きな病院に通っていたんだが、主治医からより専門的な治療を受けるためにも詳しい検査をしてもらった方がいいと言われてね。息子もわしも大賛成してすぐに予約を取った。当時カムイは小学校に入ったばかりの年頃で、息子夫婦が検査に行く日、わしが預かったんだ。
They died that day, didn't they? They never came home.
検査は1日がかりだと聞いていた。
Yep.
息子夫婦は2人連れ立って研究エリアに出向き、一人残されたカムイはわしが引き取り、この家で一緒に暮らすことになった。カムイは大好きな両親を失ったショックでしばらく口も聞けなかったんだが、
じいちゃん、聞いて聞いて。
What voice is that?
おかえりカムイ。学校は楽しかったか？
俺友達できたよ。
おお、そうか。よかったな。友達はなんて名前なんだ？
まだよくわかんない。
覚えきれないくらいたくさんできたのか。
勉強を教えたり係の仕事を手伝ったらみんなすっごく喜んでくれたんだ。
カムイ、それは
俺にたくさん友達ができてじいちゃんも嬉しいでしょ。
Oh no.
そう。
Oh.
あの子の笑顔が見られて本当にほっとした。しかしその日を境にカムイは誰かを喜ばせることに執着するようになっておった。
Those aren't really friends, honey. They're just using you.
祖父のわしが言うのもなんだが、カムイは人懐っこく明るくて優しい性格で近所の人たちにも評判の人気者になった。だがその一方で特別に仲のいい友達はとうとうできなかった。
Is that because he tends to keep people at arm's length?
そうなんだ。ある程度まで親しくなるとカムイはスーッと身を引いてしまって、それ以上は踏み込まないし踏み込ませない。
誕生日会？うちで開くってこと？
ああ、この前友達の誕生日会に呼ばれただろう。今度はお前の番。
別にやらなくていいかな。俺はじいちゃんが祝ってくれたらそれで十分。
なんだ、遠慮してるのか？ 心配しなくても当日は八つ橋じゃなくてちゃんと大きなケーキを用意してやるぞ。
What is yatsuhashi? I'm gonna have to look that up. That's a word I don't know. Yatsuhashi. Yatsuhashi wa... Oh. It's similar to a senbei. Red bean paste, glutinous rice flour. Okay, they're interesting. Cinnamon sweets. Yeah, I was like, Yatsuhashi? Yeah, Yatsu is like 8 and Hashi is bridges or chopsticks. Huh.
そんなんじゃないよ。家まで呼んじゃうと特別っぽくなるし。
Oh.
それにクラスのみんなを呼ぶわけにはいかないし。やあ、人気者はつらいな。
みんなに平等だから誰も特別じゃない。どうやらそういう理屈のようだった。わしが思うにカムイは愛情を注いでくれた両親を失ったことで代わりの愛情を求め続けているんだろう。だが両親と同じようにまた突然失うことが怖くて好意を寄せてくれる相手がいても何も言わずに自分から手を離してしまう。
Yep, we've martyred this boy. We've made this boy into a martyr.
そんなことを繰り返しているうちにあいつには広く浅い付き合いだけが増えていき特別仲のいい友達はできなかった。
Mr. Zenji drank his now lukewarm tea and then rolled the cup between his palms.
カムイはわしのことをじいちゃんと呼んでこうして顔も見せに来るがあいつの両親の代わりにはなれなかった。
Yeah.
何よりわしはカムイよりも先に死んでしまう。いつか一人になってしまうあいつのことが心配でたまらないんだ。
Yeah, that's gonna suck. Seeing Mr. Zenji's deep love for his grandson pulled at my heartstrings. It might not be my place to say anything as an outsider, but Mr. Zenji, you are who you are. You're not a replacement for Kamui's parents, but you're very important to him. I know it may sound like I don't know anything since I'm a stranger, but Kamui did tell me.
唯一の肉親がじいちゃんなんだ。
Yep, we just watched it. We just watched that.
カムイがそんなことを。
I'm sure Kami's afraid that the people he loves will suddenly vanish like his parents, and that's caused him to build an emotional wall. Wow, we're so well versed in psychology! But he's caring towards others and is very perceptive. Even if he wants to find someone who would love him like his parents did, I don't think he would actually try and replace them. Mr. Zenji's misty eyes moved to me. Did I say too much? Maybe I've been rude. I briefly worried about it, but I didn't look away and held Mr. Zenji's gaze.
ありがとう。こんなことを言うと君を困らせてしまうかもしれないが、
Uh-oh.
カムイが友達をこの家に連れてきたのは君が初めてなんだ。
Yeah.
どうかそしてできることならあいつが君から遠ざかろうとした時にはその手を離さずにいてもらえないかな。頼む。この通りだ。
Mr. Zenji bowed deeply immediately after, nearly banging his head on the table. Mr. Zenji! I bolted from my seat and placed a hand on his shoulder. There's no need for that. Mr. Zenji did lift his head up, but his face was still grave and full of worry. After Mr. Zenji's explanation, I think I understand why Kamui is the way he is now. Kamui's looking for love. He wants someone who will worry about him and see him as special. Yet he's terrified of losing them like his parents. You know, how funny that the title of this stream is how to martyr complex your man with these 5 easy steps. Maybe it should just be martyr complex your man with 1 easy step, kill his parents. Maybe not a good step, but you could do it. But
when he became a member of the Blooms, he also became part of a mission where a lot of people depended on him, so he got love in that way. It must make him happy to hear how much everyone in the colony loves him. But I think deep down, Kamui knows the affection from those people isn't the same as the unconditional love that Mr. Zenji has for him. That's why he's so focused on the Foresight broadcast, and why he's ignoring the effects it's having on his health. Mr. Zenji, I took his hand as I said his name. Please don't come in right now, Kamui. It really looks like I'm, like, doing weird shit with your grandfather. I promise to be by Kamui's side. I don't know why I quick saved. I was pretty certain which one was the right answer. I promise you, I'll always stay by Kamui's side. I'll cling on through sheer willpower, even if he tries to push me away. I'm pretty tenacious if I do say so myself.
ああ、そりゃ頼もしいな。君も思う気づいているかもしれないが、カムイは何かとカッコつけたがる割に自分のことになると途端にヘタレになる。手のかかるやつだが、根はいい子です。
I know,
カムイの
hello.
ことをどうかよろしくお願いします。
よろしく. Don't worry, I will.
ありがとう。
Mr. Zenji and I smiled at each other and shook hands.
ちょっとじいちゃん俺がいない間に何彼女の手を握って見つめ合ってるんだよ
Hi, Phantom. Both of you guys have fucking perfect timing. Hello. We were just having a very deep talk with his grandfather. Not about romancing him. In fact, it was all about Kamui. And you know how I named this stream Martyr Your Man and with these 5 easy steps? Well, actually, it should be Martyr Your Man with this 1 easy step, and the step is kill his parents. Kamui? You scared me, but thanks for going out and getting things.
なんだカムイ、まだ手も握ってなかったのか。やれやれ情けない。
Mr. Zenji immediately fell back into teasing Kamui. He heaved an exasperated sigh while placing a distressed hand on his forehead.
じいちゃんと違って俺は紳士なんですそれよりほら茶葉と八つ橋買ってきたよ
どこにあるんだ。
あ、床に落としっぱなしだった。
Yeah?
まったく動揺しすぎだろ。仕方ない。お茶はわしが入れてくるか。先に八つ橋の箱を開けておいてくれ。
Phantom, don't forget your toe bean stamp. The toe bean stamp war is wild already. Already the toe bean stamp war is going hard. But you know, Pudding's pretty far in front of everybody. Pudding has those beans on lock. Mr. Zenji stood up and made his way to the back of the room.
あれ、湯飲みが出てる。
Stamp, stamp.
さてはじいちゃん、自分用の茶葉で入れたな。コーヒーとか紅茶のストックもあるのに。
Sasuga pudding. Yeah. Oh, but the tea Mr. Zenji made was really delicious too.
そうならいいけど。ところで君、八つ橋は食べられる人だった？聞くの忘れてたよね。
I'll eat anything. That's okay. I've actually never tried them, but I like sweets in general.
本当？よかった。俺はじいちゃんの影響で子供の頃からよく食べてるんだけど、飽きないんだよね。ちなみにここだけの話。じいちゃんさ、特別なお客さんが来るときは決まって八つ橋と緑茶を出すんだ。
Special, huh? I'm glad he sees me that way. I'm glad your grandfather likes me.
お茶が入ったぞ。場所を開けてくれ。
はいはーい。お、やっぱいい茶葉は香りも違うな。
まあ入れる人間の腕にもよるがな。
ああ、確かに。じいちゃんが入れたのと俺が入れたのだとなんでか甘さが違うんだよね。
Does he put sugar in it?
寮の食堂を借りていろいろ試してるんだけど 毎回じいちゃんの味にはならないんだよな。
Probably put sugar in it. You're such a green tea fiend, Kamui, but I completely understand. Mr. Zenji's tea does taste amazing.
見たかカムイ、あんなに可愛い彼女の笑顔を引き出したのはこのわしが入れた緑茶だ。
じいちゃん忘れてない？過去の俺の発言があったからこそ彼女の笑顔につながったわけですよ。
This is the weirdest oyakodon I've ever had. Yeah. Mr. Zenji and Kamui resumed their argument with great exuberance. Their unfiltered way of talking surprised me at first, but now hearing it makes me smile. I listened to their bickering as if it were background music while enjoying my tea and sweets.
That's literally... No, wait. I just realized that's like almost literally Remorat and Alford. Except Alford gets a lot more angry. Remorat is the type to tease and stay calm, and Alford is the type to get extremely riled up about the teasing.
Mr. Zenji opened the gifts we brought and taught us how to brew green tea. After that, we noticed the time for Senna's broadcast was fast approaching.
それじゃ俺たちそろそろ帰るね。また電話する。
また電話する。My boo? Yeah, absurd. You want to hear all about my brothers. Well, let's just say Remorat has a very acerbic, I think is the... acerbic wit. Not the cervix. No. Captions, please! I don't even know how to pronounce this word. I've only seen it written.
Acerbic.
I was saying it right! Acerbic! Stop captions! No, he does not! He has an acerbic wit. There we go, it finally got it. He has a very sharp wit. He's very, I wouldn't say rude, because he's, you know, we get royal education on how not to be rude. But, he's definitely the type to give you a compliment that you later realize was just absolutely an insult the whole time. And you sit and you go, oh, fuck damn it. God damn it, Remorat. Yeah, he's quick. Well, both of my brothers are quick-witted. Both of them are very smart. But Remorat is a lot more, I don't know if I would say he enjoys riling people up. He's a little more calm. But, well, between my two brothers, Remorat is exceedingly calm. But I'm certain you would, And Alford is a little more quick to anger at the teasing and a lot more... I mean, he's trained in, like, strategy, but he's a lot more of the, like, hit first, ask questions later type of person. While Remorat is ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, ask questions, basically inundate them with questions until they give in. Remorat is a little more mind-gamey. No, you ask questions.
So 言ってお前からかけてきた試しがないがな。またすぐ帰ってきなさい。もちろん彼女も一緒にな。
Basically, this image of the two of them is perfect for their relationship. The special art is perfect for their relationship. Remorat teases, and Alford tries his best not to kill him. Sometimes they do get into fights. Not very often, though. They did that when they were younger. They don't fight as much now. I mean,
Not physically. I guess?
じいちゃんさ、可愛い孫の俺は口実で、単に彼女に会いたいだけだろ。
Yeah, Grandpa just wants to see me again. This is turning into Grandpa's route.
君がカムイに愛想を尽かしてもう二度とわしと会ってくれなくなるかもしれないと思うと、八つ橋も一箱しか喉を通りそうにないな。
Yeah, you might have. We've had quite a few gift sub bombs recently. People like giving me subs and listening to me squeak. Yes, hello, General.
ああ、どこからツッコミを入れよう。じいちゃん、本当に彼女のこと気に入ったんだね。
Again, this is the weirdest oyakodon I've ever had. It might have been Wolf. I think Wolf is the most recent one who did a sub bomb. I could check. I might be able to check. Shiranai. That was okay. I don't know. Shiranai.
Arigato.
I didn't even read that.
Thank you. I'm so glad we got the chance to meet, Mr. Zenji. I hope to see you again, with Kamui, of course.
Mr. Zenji grinned when I emphasized that I would visit with Kamui. I sensed someone's eyes on me and looked up to find Kamui with a gentle smile on his face.
ああ、このまま止まっていきたいな。
The way Kamui mumbled to himself made him look like a little boy.
なんてね。またね、じいちゃん。
Oh, our poor sweet martyr boy. Our poor sweet martyr boy. Well, neither of those are correct captions.
The sun was already setting as we walked together. Oh, I smell curry. A delicious aroma from one of the surrounding houses wafted under my nose. It made me wish I had a place of my own to call home.
夕方にこの道を歩いて帰るとさ。
Kamui suddenly started speaking. I looked up at his face as he walked beside me and he flashed a bright smile.
あちこちからいい匂いがしてくるからお腹がすくんだよね。
That's exactly what's happening to me right now.
I smiled in agreement and thought how nice it was to have Kamui here next to me.
じいちゃんと二人で大丈夫だった？会話に困るとかなかった？
No, it was all good. No, we chatted a lot about a shared interest.
そっかそっか。よかった。じいちゃんと君の共通の話題か。ってそれ俺だよね。
Yes, it was. Also, I'll be back in like 2 seconds. I have an itch inside my ear and I need to take care of that. Yeah, they're great. Enjoy Kamui and me getting taken by the ghosts. Okay. I return.
Hush you.
I had to go deal with that itch in my ear because it's not good to be digging around inside your ear. There are delicate structures in there.
He told me you've been kind and popular ever since you were little.
そんな恥ずかしいこと言ってたのかよ。じいちゃん勘弁して。
Conley's voice grew weaker as he covered his face with his hands. He genuinely looked embarrassed.
じいちゃんがそれだけで終わるはずない。他にも何か言ってたんじゃない？
Well, what will you give me to tell you the truth? More stuff? Well, yeah, I guess so.
俺のことが心配だとか言ってたでしょ。
Well, yes. Oh.
当たりだ。
Mr. Zenji doesn't know about the blooms or Senna, right?
うん。特務部隊のことは最高機密だからね。司令のまさきちゃんもあんな感じだし、つい忘れがちなんだけどさ。
Why do you call him Masaki?
When did you join the blooms, Conley?
中等部の頃にね。あるプロジェクトに参加したことがきっかけだよ。じいちゃんから俺の両親のことも聞いた。体の弱かった母さんが研究機関で精密検査を受けること。
Oh, I felt like Kami was intentionally trying to sound lighthearted about everything.
Yeah.
I nodded after a moment's hesitation and calmly responded with a wry smile.
だよね。実はその話には続きがあって。
There's more to it? Oh.
中等部時代に俺が参加したプロジェクトってもともとは母さんが精密検査を受ける予定だった研究機関が主催してたんだ。母さんを検査して治療に当たる予定だった医者というか研究者の人たちが数年経って息子である俺に声をかけてきたってわけ。息子の俺にも母さんと同じ病気に関する遺伝子があるかもしれないってことだ。もしそうなら俺の体を調べることでこの先同じ病に苦しむ人が現れた時に有効な治療法を提供できるかもしれない。
Yeah, I can see how this is going to turn out.
そう聞いてプロジェクトへの参加を即決した。母さんと同じ病で苦しむ人を助けたいって。その
Oops, I keep cutting him off on accident.
Weren't you scared at the time?
そうだね。少しはビビってたかな。体を調べるって何されるんだろうとかね。まだ中学生のガキだったし、キャラじゃないのに悩みに悩んで結局、誰かの力になりたいって気持ちの方が勝っちゃったんだよね。ただじいちゃんが納得しなくてさ。
Well, what have you become now?
俺が実験材料みたいに扱われるんじゃないかって心配して猛反対だったんだよね。
And look at you now. Tommy frowned as he recalled what happened back then. Mr. Zenji must have been adamant in his refusal.
最初のうちは研究機関の人も紳士的っていうか話せば分かってもらえるはずです。いざ顔を合わせることになったらじいちゃんの剣幕に押されに押されまくって最後の方なんか涙目になってたな。結局プロジェクトへの参加は保護者の許可を得てからって話は立ち消えになって本人の同意があればいいってことになったんだ。
That's not how you go about this.
Oh shit. Then he went ahead.
じいちゃんの静止を振り切る形でプロジェクトに参加したんだ。そんなだったからじいちゃんと気まずい時期もあったんだけど、最終的には黙認というか向こうが折れてくれた感じになったけどね。でも未だに俺が心配なんだと思う。じいちゃんも頑固だから面と向かって行ってきたりはしないんだけどさ。
And what makes you say that? Are you still part of that project?
参加してるといえば参加してるのかな。今じゃもうすっかり形を変えちゃったけどね。
Kamui smelled suggestively when he said that.
I'm getting a weird feeling of deja vu. Like, I know what he's talking about, but can't quite recall its name. The Research Institute project that changed... Oh, does he mean the project is the blooms, yeah?
さすが大当たり。
Oh. Oh.
But what does that have to do with the illness?
検査を続けてるうちにいろいろあって、ある日超能力に目覚めちゃったんだ。
Amazing. I kinda got superpowers. What the fuck? Kamui struck a pose and threw up a peace sign, cutely tilting his head to the side. Wait, what does all that jazz entail?
いやー、あんまり面白くないと思うんだよね。
Kamui kept a smile plastered on his face, but he wouldn't say anything more on the subject and pivoted the conversation away.
そんなこんなでブルームズの一員になったものの、じいちゃんには秘密にしなきゃじゃない？だから詳細は伏せて、全部まとめてプロジェクトってことにしてるんだ。ブルームズの活動も人助けだし、そう考えればどっちも同じようなものだしね。
Hello, how are you?
We're talking to our lovely dear murder boy. Not murder, martyr.
God bless it.
We're also at 3-2.
Oh, I feel that. It's too hot outside. This time, Kamui Small wasn't masking anymore.
No! Well, we did hear his backstory. We did get his backstory, and funnily enough, the title of this stream, How to Murder Your Boy, Martyr Complex Your Man with these 5 easy steps, it really was only one step, and that step was kill his parents. So, he's also an orphan. He radiated genuine happiness, which made my heart hurt a little.
どの口が言うんだって感じなんだけどさ。俺、じいちゃんにはあんまり心配をかけたくないんだ。めちゃくちゃ元気だし、口うるさいし、今もライフライン整備班で委託職員として現役バリバリに働いてるけど、年も年だしね。
Yeah, and he's like, my parents were, his parents really, really loved him. They showered him in love. And so he's afraid that the people that he loves are going to be taken away suddenly. So he just doesn't let anybody get close, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Hey, no flirting with my knight. You can't distract him from his job.
Also, what the fuck is the Lifeline Maintenance Corps?
Kami scratched his cheek absentmindedly and continued in a somewhat bashful tone.
だから、もしじいちゃんに何か聞かれても、
Whoops, too late.
俺はちゃんとやってるって言ってくれる？
Well, too late for that. Huh? What should I say? Mr. Zenji confided to me earlier that he was concerned about Kamui.
嘘をつくみたいで気が進まないかな。けどじいちゃんとはいつも一緒にいられないし、余計な心労をかけるよりはって思うんだ。
The Toby and Stamp War continues to go strong.
I think. Yeah, Pudding has 30. Lina has 24. Phantom has 22. And you have 25, Zatoka. Y'all are real close. Kami looked at me with a pleading expression, though I felt at a loss for words. I'm sorry, Kamui. I apologized to him silently, and then smiled. We're gonna quick save. I won't make him worry. There we go. I won't say anything that would make Mr. Zenji worry. It pained me to lie, but I couldn't think of what else I could do when I saw how earnest Kamui was.
I have to make sure I support Kamui so that Mr. Zenji won't have to worry.
よかった。ありがとう。
Kamui seemed relieved as he then crouched down on the spot, utterly exhausted. Sir? Are you alright?
平気平気。なんか一気に力が抜けちゃって。ウケる。膝とかガクガク笑っちゃってるし。
I think that's because you're exhausted, honey.
Mr. Zenji must be important to you.
いや、そうでもないよ。なんて。この状態じゃ説得力ないね。
He's not going down on me. Hush you.
Kamui grinned wryly as he slowly stood up.
ほんと。ありがとう。君にじいちゃんに会ってもらってよかった。俺だけじゃきっとじいちゃんのことを安心させてあげられないから。
So about that.
He gave a forlorn sort of smile after saying that.
あのさ、本当にまた俺と一緒にじいちゃんに会いに行ってくれるかな。
He was handsome. And we accidentally almost, cucked. Well, it was implied that he thought that Kamui was really scared that he was gonna get cuffed by his grandfather.
We didn't! We didn't!
But when Kamui came in, Grandpa was holding our hand and looking in our eyes, and Kamui was really worried. So yeah, here's his grandfather.
そう言ってお前からかけてきた試しがないがな。またすぐ帰ってきなさい。もちろん彼女も一緒にな。
See? So I was saying, no, we did not. All I was saying was this is the weirdest oyakodon I've ever seen.
I don't even know if it counts as an oyakodon.
He did not. Stop making up lies.
Yeah.
Of course. I responded without hesitation, and Kamui happily held out his right pinky.
じゃあ約束。指切りしよう。
Okay. Really?
I never thought I'd hear the words pinky swear come out of Kamui's mouth.
I stared at him blankly.
俺のイメージじゃない？まあ確かにちょっと子供っぽいかもね。
Yeah, but that's okay.
You can stop reading my mind now.
だって君わかりやすいんだもん。
This is my fault. You don't feel guilty at all?
ごめんごめん。自分で言っておいてなんだけど、やっぱこの年で指切りとか恥ずかしくなっちゃってつい。
Yeah, you know. I've heard both, but I've only heard written pinky swear. It's always pinky promise.
Pinky promise?
Yeah, the alliteration is pretty important. Yeah.
Why a pinky swear anyway?
子供の頃にね。
Please don't mom zone
よく
me.
やってたんだ。母さんの癖だったみたい。
That's not what I want.
Oh, I see.
お母さんは病院で検査を頑張ってくるから、カムイは好き嫌いしないで、いい子にして、おじいちゃんと待っててね。とか、そんな感じ？
はあ。
それを聞いたじいちゃんが、今がチャンスって思ったらしくて、その日の夕飯は、俺の苦手な野菜ばっか並んじゃってさ。
You mean the day your parents died, you also ate a bunch of food that you hated? This poor child.
Kamui spoke about it fondly, but he couldn't hide the shadow that had fallen over his face.
絶対また遊びに行こうって約束して、母さんも父さんも帰ってこなかったんだけどね。だから、あれが最後の指切りになっちゃった。
This is weird. Yeah.
あの日を境に、指切りはもちろん、
We're healing this
誰
man's
かと
heart
約束するのも怖くなっちゃってさ。
with sandwiches
そういう場面になるのを避けてきたんだ。
and oyakodon.
けど、君には自然と言えた。なんでなんだろう。 思議だな。
I wonder. The sun setting illuminated Conley's smile, which looked simultaneously downcast and shy. As I stared at his smile, something compelled me to take his hand. I'll keep my promise, no matter what.
ありがとう。
I didn't know who moved first, but our fingers intertwined. I could feel heat radiating through his hands, which then found its way to my face. We don't get a CG for that! Damn. That's not good. He is going to lose his powers, and it's gonna suck! Look how close we are! Yeah, we were holding hands. Look how close we are. No pinky promise CG. We did get the CG of him and his grandfather. And us. Him, his grandfather, and us. That was cool. But now it's time for a possible... This is, yeah. Here we go. I had a dream that night. I realized I was dreaming because even though it felt so real, something was just off. Kami was using his powers without transforming and was fighting a horde of vectors. Yeah, I hope so too.
危ない！もっと下がって！
Kami, get behind Mocha! You need to focus on foresight right now.
モカって誰のこと？
What? I couldn't understand his question and froze in surprise while Kami continued to attack the vectors. Mocha was in back with me. I turned around to look for Mocha, but I couldn't find her anywhere. Is she not here because it's a dream? Then what about Kaori and Haruka? I gasped and looked towards the front line, but the two of them were also missing.
ねえ、誰か探してるの？
Kaori and Haruka.
うん、それも知らない名前だな。
Yeah.
ここには俺と君だけだよ。
What? But that can't be! You, me, Mocha, Kaori, and Haruka? The five of us threw the blooms! I knew there wasn't anything to do because it was a dream, but I couldn't let it go. Don't you remember them?
そっか。俺が忘れちゃったのかな。どうして大事なことほど俺の手から。
What? I don't like that. I don't know. Amnesia, I think. Or losing it. Okay, fun dreams all around, everybody. God. I bolted upright and found myself awake. I'm in my room. It was just a dream after all. I sighed and fell back in bed. I was covered in a cold sweat. My body felt heavy like it did after a strenuous gym class. What was up with that dream? Yeah, you know, Phantom, it might be. It might not be that they all get stuck as girls. It might be that he loses his memories. I don't know, though. No one replied, though that was no surprise. My words simply melted into the darkness.
お昼ご飯食べる時間なくなっちゃうよ。
Uh-oh.
起きて起きて。
What? Oh, Kamui. I looked up in surprise when I heard my name and my eyes met Kamli's. He looked concerned. That's right. I was waiting for Senna's noon broadcast to finish. When did I fall asleep?
大丈夫？具合悪い？
No, not at all. I just didn't get enough sleep. Oh, speaking of dreams where you're aware it's a dream, I had a really crazy dream once. I still remember it because it was fucking wild. I had a dream that I was in Tokyo. And I went to an Alice in Wonderland themed restaurant. Except I tried to take like the normal, like the front entrance, and they were like, no, you can't use the front entrance. You have to take the special secret side entrance. And I was like, what the fuck, why? And I went to the secret side entrance, and it was that itty bitty door from Alice in Wonderland, like where it's a tiny door, she can't fit through it, she has to get really small. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And I crawled through the door, got into the restaurant. They sat me down at the restaurant and then had me fill out a form, which was the weirdest form I've ever seen. Because, so here's the thing that surprised a bunch of my friends. I actually could read the form in my dream. It was, I have no idea what it was. It wanted me to fill out like my name and address and like some other stuff, but I didn't get much farther than the name and address because the name filled out was my Earth Father's name and the address was just some weird address in Tokyo. And I was like, neither of these are right. Why is that? And then I went, oh, is this a dream? And then I woke up. The weirdest dream ever. Well, no, not as odd as the Pokemon card tournament swim meet dream I had. But that was a weird dream. Yeah, I broke the illusion. I read the form, went, huh? Oh, this is a dream. And then I woke up.
No, not at all. I just didn't get enough sleep.
ああ、確かに目の下にクマできてる。
Conley peered into my face as he said that. Yeah. Conley, you're getting awfully close.
何か悩み事？俺でよければ話聞くよ。
I just had a weird dream. Conley didn't pay attention to my protestations, but I could tell from his expression that he was truly worried about me. Should I tell him about the dream?
女の子同士の方が話しやすかったりする？もしそうならセナになるから言ってね。
Yes, turn into Senna so I can tell you all about how I didn't sleep well because I was really worried that my period was going to start. Sure, let's do that.
Conley chuckled as he said that.
Oh my god, that's terrifying. That's absolutely terrifying. I still remember one of my terrifying childhood dreams, and that I was in the back of our car, of my Earth family's car. We were driving up to visit family, and it was super dark at night. And I was trying to get my parents' attention for some reason, my Earth parents' attention. I was like, hey, excuse me. And I looked in the front seat. Like, I leaned forward because I was like, you guys aren't paying attention to me. Like, you're not, I'm trying to get your attention. And instead of my parents, it was giant ants. But one was bright blue and one was bright red. And I freaked the fuck out. And then I looked in the back of the car and my parents were tied up in the back of the car. And then I woke up absolutely scared shitless. For a couple of years, I had wild nightmares about giant red and blue ants. I don't know why. Yeah, I forget quite a few of my dreams, but a lot of them I do end up remembering. Mostly the ones that make you go, what the fuck? Like, why the hell did I have dreams about giant, sentient, red and blue ants? No, ants are really strong. Ants are really fucking strong. They can like lift 10 times their body weight. I have no idea why my brain was in ant mode.
True.
Yeah. Really? I guess I've never really thought about the physics of scaling up an ant.
But she's still you.
まあね。でもほら、見た目とか雰囲気が違うと結構そのイメージに引っ張られると思うんだよね。さてさて、お客さんのご希望は？
お客さん。
Please stay as you are.
I think it'd be weirder to tell him it'd be weirder to tell Senna that we dreamed of Kamui than it would be to tell Kamui that we dreamed of Kamui.
いいでしょう。
Kamui nodded theatrically but didn't broach the subject right away. He simply held out a cup of aromatic green tea.
Thank you. Don't mind if I do. Yeah?
どうぞどうぞ。まだ暑いから気をつけてね。
I did have one crazy dream like 2 years ago. Oh my god, that sounds terrifying. You have fucked up dreams, Phantom. I feel so sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say. That seems pretty tame. But I did have a dream a couple years ago. I was staying and I went to go visit my some Earth family for Christmas. Oh my god, poor Phantom. And we stayed in, basically we house sat for the couple across the street because my Earth grandparents live in a retired neighborhood. And so one of the families was out, and so they were like, yeah, your family can stay at our house so they don't have to pay for a hotel. It was great. And I was alone. My younger Earth brother and my Earth dad shared a room, and I slept on my own. And yeah, I was extremely generous of them. And also they had a cat, so we like helped take care of the cat for like 2 days. But I slept in a room by myself. It was a room in the very front of the house, it was a single-story house. Room was in the very front, so I could see the street and like the cars that passed by the street. It was really interesting because like it had the bottom half of the windows had blinds on them, but the top half didn't. It was really weird. Or was something like that. Something like there was a weird half-blind situation. I don't quite remember. But I had a dream that I was in that house with a bunch of other weird people, and there was a murderer stalking around the house, and I had to hide in that bedroom. Yeah, it might have been only the top half and not the bottom half, but I don't remember. But I just remember there being that there was a murderer around the house, stalking around the house, trying to find us all, and I had to hide in the room that I was in, and I was freaking out trying to figure out how I could hide with the blinds being fucking weird. It was terrifying. I hated it. So, I mean, also that period of my life was extremely stressful, so it was probably just like my brain was processing some shit. But yeah, strange dreams. I have a lot of really weird, strange dreams.
The tea he'd made was oddly sweet, and I felt its warmth seep through my entire body. I let out a sigh and began to quietly explain. I don't like how you describe food as oddly sweet. I didn't sleep very well because I had a bad dream. I realized it was a dream when I was in it, but the whole thing just felt so real.
そういう時って余計にモヤモヤしない？
Yeah.
頭が騙されるっていうか、誤認識しちゃって夢なのに夢じゃないんじゃないかって思ったり。
Yeah, that's exactly it. I couldn't just say, oh, it was all a dream. My mind was completely alert. I couldn't fall back asleep.
辛いよね。
Sounds like you've had the same experience.
夢はね、俺にとって鬼門というか、眠ってる時に見るやつね。
Maybe it's because he realized how bitter he sounded, but calmly threw in a tiny joke to lighten the mood. I pretended not to notice and just nodded, acknowledging what he said. So you're saying that you don't usually have good dreams?
あんまりというか、いや、
It's unusual for Kamui to be at a loss for words, but if he didn't want to talk about it, he wouldn't have brought it up. I didn't want to press him, and thought that maybe we should end it here, but then Kamui continued on in a soft voice.
予知夢もどきをね、見るんだ。
Of course you do.
普通の夢とは違って妙にリアルで、起きると能力を使った後みたいな疲労感もある。
Jiminy fucking Christmas.
でも予知ではないんだ。
Yeah, it really fits with his powers.
What's the difference?
いい質問だね。二つの違いは見てる未来の範囲だよ。今から離れるほど未来は不安定になる。不確定要素が増える一方だからね。予知夢もどきはその点を全然考慮してないから、平気で数ヶ月後の話を見せてくるんだよね。
Kamui looked disturbed as he explained everything, and from his tone of voice, I guessed his visions didn't portend good news.
そんなわけで、どう考えてもオーバーワークだから明らかに予知じゃないんだけど、寝てる時にリミッター的なものが外れて、本当に夢の中で予知を見ていたとしたら、なんて考え出すと落ち着かないんだよね。
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I took another sip of green tea, unsure of what I could say to him.
ごめん。そもそも君の話を聞いてたのに、俺の自分語りになっちゃってるね。
いいんだよ。No, it's alright. You have these kinds of dreams regularly? Maybe there's a way to deal with them.
You know, that's a good point. Maybe he does turn into a girl in his sleep. That'd be really weird.
超能力に目覚めた直後なんかはまだライフロットのコントロールができなくて半ば強制的に見せられてたって感じかな。今は疲れてる時とか風邪ひいてる時とかやっぱり力をコントロールしきれなくなると上映会が始まっちゃうみたいなんだよね。
So the way to deal with it is to not get too exhausted?
うん。それに尽きるね。というわけで放課後は俺とデートしよう。夕方までは害獣も出現しないみたいだしね。
Baby, that is not a segue. Conway leaned towards me with a dazzling smile. Did he just slip asking me on a date in there? I think I might have misheard you.
今日の放課後、俺とデートしよう。
Nope, heard him loud and clear. Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, where did this come from all of a sudden?
夢見が悪いって場合も体調不良だったりストレスが原因ってことも多いんだって。だからデートして気分転換しよう。ね。
I was just about to say, are you certain dates aren't stressful things? And then I realized that probably says a lot more about my relationships than it does about Kawi. Whoopsies.
Okay, I guess that makes sense, or maybe it doesn't.
はいそこ難しく考えすぎない。
Hush! I noticed Kamui reaching out for me out of the corner of my eye, but I had no idea he was going to sandwich my face between his hands. I'm not an idiot sandwich! What are you doing?
俺もあんま人のこと言えた義理じゃないけど適度に休んで遊んでコンディション整えるのも任務の一環だと思うんだよね。
Exactly.
正直害獣との戦いは終わりが見えないじゃない。
Yeah.
いつまで続くんだろうなって思っちゃった時点で
This root's
すでに
motif?
ストレスも相当かかってるわけですよ。
This root's motif is sandwiches.
それでもこの戦いから降りられない以上うまくストレスと付き合っていかないとね。
Yeah. It felt like Kamui was saying this just as much for himself as for me. Kamui's gotta be worn out too. He's been fighting alongside Kaori and the others long before I joined the Blooms. I moved Kamui's hands away from my face and looked into his eyes. Setting aside whether it's a date or not, I'd like to go out with you after school.
え、マジで言ってる？
Did you ask and not mean it? Wait, is this one of those weird other human Earth customs that I don't understand? Yeah, I do. Why do you look so surprised?
だって急だったしデートってなるとお断りされる可能性も上がるだろうなって思ってたから。
I said we're setting the date thing aside.
デート以外の何者でもないと思うんだけどな。もしかして君照れてる？
Shut up or I'm gonna punch you. You're the one who's shy. Your face is bright red.
え？
True, true. Huh?
いた。
What the fuck did you do? Kamui had gone and smacked his own face. Actually, it looked like he was trying to cover it, but he overdid himself and ended up slapping himself.
I guess.
Are you okay? That sounded like it hurt.
大丈夫じゃないけど大丈夫。
What's that supposed to mean? I wondered if I should ask him to clarify, but he asked me a question instead.
俺顔が赤くなってたんだ。
I mean, I wouldn't know. I've never been asked on a date. By a guy.
Never had that. Yeah, and I think it's even redder now.
そっか。
That true.
俺の勘違いじゃなくて
Well,
本当に
no. Because it's like asking directly. That's what this is about. Is asking directly. Do you want to go on a date with me? I've never had that happen. Have guys tried to circularly ask me out on a date? Possibly. Could have happened. I wouldn't know about it. But I've never had a guy come up to me and say, and you know, be like, "Hey, do you want to go out on a date?" No, I take that back, but I don't think that counts. It was a joke. Yeah, no, that doesn't count. I wanted to know what he was gonna say, but couldn't bring myself to ask. Kamui jumped up energetically from his seat.
用事を思い出したから俺行くね。 せっかく待っててくれたのにお昼一緒に食べられなくてごめん。
Uh-huh. I cry. Possibly, but... Oh no, it was entirely a joke. It was a dare. He was dared to ask me out. But yes, hello, Cry! Conley, you're being suspicious. Don't worry about it. So, should we meet again after school?
うん。楽しみにしてる。
Okay. Conley turned to me briefly and waved. Then he took it off with amazing speed and exited the prep room in a flash. I wonder what's so important. I hope he makes it in time.
Amazing.
Oh, fuck! Turns out we couldn't go on our date after all. A few hours later, we were standing by the outer wall where a group of vectors had appeared. I'd felt relieved because Senna said in her noon broadcast that the vectors wouldn't appear until evening. But we didn't expect them to come out the second afternoon turned to evening. Kami suggested the date, so he was just as surprised as anyone. He started to panic right when the evening broadcast began.
みんな行きますわよ。一匹もコロニーに侵入させませんわ。
Yeah, it's a vector fighting date.
うるさい。テンション高すぎ。嫌気っぱちってやつなんかな。危うく予知と予知の隙間で害獣が襲ってくるとこやったもんな。聞こえてますわよ。二人とも。ははは。まあ結果オーライでしょう。システムの隙間を突かれそうになったけど、こうやって対処できてるんだしさ。
I kind of like this music. The fighting music is nice. I nodded in agreement with Cowdy. Let's just focus on the vectors. We'll discuss countermeasures when we get back to the command center. Yeah.
見えてきましたわ。ほら、あそこ。
There were a lot of vectors attacking tonight. I have to provide more support so Senna can stay back. Redouble my support efforts. We're not casting Augment. I need to focus on supporting everyone. Howdy, Haruka, and Milka headed to the front lines. I watched the three of them go as I called out to Senna. I'm gonna back them up, so please just focus on staying alert.
私に指示を出すなんて、あなたも随分成長したんですのね。
Oh, hush you. Foresight is our last resort, so you have to preserve your strength, right?
いいですわ。あなたのプランに乗りましょう。言い争っている暇はなさそうですもの。ただし、くれぐれも無理はしないこと。約束できますわね。
You have to promise too, then.
まあ、言うようになって。本当に気をつけてくださいね。
Yeah, I will. The vectors weren't as aggressive this time, and many of them retreated after a little pushback. Soon, only a few remained.
簡単に倒しちゃうんだね。つまんないな。
Yeah. Oh. Yukinami! I turned towards the voice and saw the human-like vector we'd seen with Murabi in the past. I don't think he's a vector. I think his name's Yukinami. What's he doing here? Well, actually, I guess it's pretty obvious.
ねえ、今度は僕と遊んでよ。
Yukinami flashed an innocent grin as he lunged forward with agility. Howdy and Haruka tried to fight back, but Yukinami was too quick and dodged all their attacks. He seemed to be teasing them by dashing around taking swipes. His strikes aren't causing serious damage, but he'll wear us down at this rate.
私が動きを予知して、香りたちに指示を出しますわ。
Senna stepped in front of me. Don't! It'll be too big of a strain! I tried to stop her, but Senna unleashed her powers right away.
香り、はるか、右、次は後ろ。え、セナ？ライフロッドを発動してる。ああ、もうさっさとあいつを倒そう。こんな能力の使い方じゃセナが持たない。分かってる。
Kaori and Haruka changed their approach substantially after Senna's instructions. They began to land their attacks, and I could see the tide turning in our favor.
他の害獣はもうおしまいや。あとはちょろちょろ動き回るあいつだけやけど、この分ならすぐに決着がつきそうやな。
He does kind of prance. Yeah. Senna concentrated with Herculean effort as she shouted orders to Kaori and Haruka. Just a little more, please hold on. I focused on Senna while silently pleading with her.
次は左後方正面。
Senna's breathing grew more and more strained and her expression turned grave. That's it. I have to stop her. I moved to Senna and reached for her shoulder. Oh my god, the moment I touched Senna, a scream tore her throat. Senna! Senna doubled over and grabbed her head as if she were in excruciating pain. She overdid it with foresight in a short span of time, so this is the price she pays. She needs to rest immediately. Mocha, I need your help. We need to get Senna to the command center. I glanced over at Mocha, but in the next moment, Senna suddenly groaned in pain. Senna? Oh, uh-oh. Senna, I gasped and looked back at her. She was completely dazed, her eyes muttering around without focus.
私
Uh-oh.
ここは
Yeah,
どこ
oh.
ですの
Yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, 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 uh-oh. She does not start vibrating! Huh? Senna then unceremoniously sat down on the ground. Senna! Senna!
どないしたんしっかりしいや
Mocha and I both knelt down, calling out to Senna and trying to get her to focus. But Senna's eyes remained glassy as she mumbled to herself.
私は
ちょっと、今僕と遊んでるんでしょ。なんでそいつに構うの？
I realized the attacks had stopped. Yukinami was standing atop a pile of rubble, looking down on us with displeasure.
ああ、つまんないの。もういい。飽きた。
Was that all it took? Yukinami resembled a petulant child as he turned away and vanished. What's he up to? Don't tell me he's going into the colony. We had to avoid that scenario at all costs. I quickly called out to the rest of the girls. This could be bad. This is a bad end choice. Kaori, Haruka, you go after Yukinami.
了解あんたとモカはセナをお願い私たちを待たずに指令室に
I
運ん
think
で
that's the right answer. I think that's the right answer. We'll see. All right, thank you. We all nodded to each other and got moving.
あれ雪波がいると思ったんだけどな
Uh-oh. A familiar voice suddenly cut through the air. It sounded very unbothered, which felt incongruous with the current situation. Moravia?
やあ久しぶりだね夕飯ができたから雪波を迎えに来たんだけど入れ違いになったかな
Dinner?
夕飯ん今日は諸事情で遅れてしまってね夜食って言った方が正解かないやそんなんどうでもええやろ
Mocha tried to clarify, though she was bewildered. Oh, God. Okay, we haven't jumped into the bad end. Even Haruka, who is usually so calm, was caught off guard and just stared at Moravia slack-jawed. Yukinami got bored and left. Nope.
ああそうなのじゃあ回収してこなきゃまたね
Moravia waved and then disappeared from view. What the fuck was that?
本当に帰った意思疎通も可能だった
Yeah, that's wild.
まあ会話が成立しとったかは微妙なとこやけど
As we all carefully let down our guard, the commander's voice boomed from a nearby street speaker.
みんな、お疲れ様。疲れているところ悪いけど、急いでセナを運んで。
Well, yeah, what do you think we're gonna do? Leave her sitting out here? She doesn't know where the fuck she is. We brought Senna back to the command center, and the commander and Ryo rushed her to another room. The rest of us stayed in the command center for a long time, not saying a word.
3人ともなかなか帰ってこない
Okay. Cody broke the silence first. Senna was acting strange, wasn't she?
もしかして気がつかないうちにモラビアたちに攻撃されてたとかうちのギフトアビリティとか香りのマインドオペレートとかそっち系の能力を使われたんかな
I don't know, but Senna definitely was holding her head in pain. I didn't think this was Moravia's doing, but I couldn't rule out the possibility until we knew for sure. Something like this has happened before, when Kamui had finished the broadcast and was resting in the chemistry prep room. The sound of footsteps interrupted my thoughts. I looked up and saw the commander walking towards us, face fraught with fatigue.
いや、お待たせ。
Commander, are you alone? Where's Senna?
セナ君は落ち着いてきたから、富塚君に付き添ってもらって先に返してよ。
I don't believe you.
セナはどうしてもうたのねえまさかとは思うけど ライフロットの代償じゃないよね。
At least... Oh god. At least we're tackling this now! We're tackling this now and not, later. But still, we're 75%.
この場面で黙るのは肯定したも同然。
Commander, please tell us the truth. Our teamwork was as strong now as it was in battle, leaving the commander no choice but to explain. He hesitated momentarily, then heaved a deep sigh.
君たちの言う通りだ。それぞれの固有能力の代償についてはごくごくプライベートな情報だし、今まで説明してこなかったけれど。
I feel like that's something we should know, though.
セナ君に関しては今度のこともあるからね。みんなにも伝えておくよ。
What? The commander's frank tone made it all the more scary. Yeah, she gave up her hotter form.
Both earlier tonight and the other day in the prep room, Kamui didn't seem to be just in a daze. It was more like, oh no, that can't be the side effect. I'm overthinking it. It's gotta be something else. I fervently hoped I was wrong, even as the suspicion grew in my mind, causing my stomach to twist into knots. I'm terrified to hear the truth, but I can't just run away. I gripped the hem of my skirt to steady my hands and waited for the commander to continue.
セナは予知の能力を使いすぎると、記憶喪失の症状を引き起こすんだ。
Yeah, what happens to Hyuga if he overuses gun? Maybe he starts shooting bits of his body. That would be terrifying.
My heart pounded loudly in my ears and the air rushed out of my lungs. My mind had gone completely blank.
なくした記憶は戻るの？っていうか、そんな重い代償が出るのに戦闘以外でも能力を使わせてたなんて。あ
りえへんやろ、そないなこと。上層部は何を考えとんの？
Uh-oh. Paladin and Mocha shouted, looking ready to take a swing at the commander. Haruka began asking rapid-fire questions, distress evident in her normally placid face.
本人に詳細は伝達済み？症状の持続時間は？そもそも最初に発覚したのはいつ？
I opened my mouth to say my piece as well, but in that moment my voice failed me. Yeah? I knew Kamui had been overdoing it, and I knew there were side effects, but all I did was worry. I didn't try harder to stop him.
批判は甘んじて受けるよ。ただ、言い訳に聞こえるかもしれないけど、僕らも傍観していたわけではないんだ。
I keep checking because I'm terrified we're gonna bad end.
ライフロットの代償が発覚してからは、とにかくセナ君の疲労が上限に達しないようにって、僕と富塚君で都度数値をチェックしてた。
だったら今日のことはセナだけ退却させることもできたんじゃないの？
そうだね。すべて僕の采配ミスだ。申し訳ない。
The commander bowed deeply and no one blamed him any further. I thought we all felt his apology came from the heart, rather than him just trying to appease us and get through the discussion.
気休めになるかわからないけれど、帰宅前にセナ君を研究所で見てもらったところ、一時的に記憶が混濁しただけとの診断だった。
Really?
うん。しっかり休めば記憶は戻るはずだよ。
We better fucking not see Kamui at school tomorrow.
But doesn't she still have to use foresight every day? That's not resting.
予知の回数を減らせないか上層部に打診するよ。明日にはみんなに結果を伝えられると思う。
Okay. Though I don't suspect they'll rescind the order. I don't expect. I tried to think about what I could do, but all I felt was a sense of dread.
That's not good.
Uh-oh. Okay, we're still 3-3. The next morning, I happened across Kamui on my way to school. It was unusual to see him alone. He looked so pale. He must still be tired after what happened yesterday. Maybe he was keeping quiet so the other girls wouldn't worry about him. Kamui, you should be resting today.
ああ、おはよう。昨日は心配かけてごめんね。一晩寝たらすっかり元気になりました。
No, you don't.
I hope.
What are you talking about? You're paler than a ghost right now. You're obviously pushing yourself too hard.
Who knows?
ああ、気づいちゃったか。 低血圧だからなのか、やたら朝に弱いんだよね。
Don't lie to me.
でも起きちゃえば調子も上がっていくだけだし。
Don't lie.
これなら
He didn't look fine, but calmly smiled at me and insisted he'd be okay. Just in case, could you not do the morning broadcast, or at least delay it a little?
そんなのダメだ。
Jesus fucking Christ! Calmly abruptly cut me off.
ごめん。いきなり大きな声出して。でも放送は決まった時間にやるべきだと思う。いろんな人があの放送を当てにして一日の予定を立ててるだろうしね。
I guess that's true, but
俺の体調を心配してくれてるんだよね。伝わってるよ。ありがとう。
I'm still worried.
でもほら、放課後デートのリベンジをするためにもあの放送は欠かせないじゃない。
We're gonna turn our date into a cuddling date, so you actually fucking rest. We can have our date whenever. I'm more concerned with you needing to rest. My stubbornness wouldn't allow me to back down, but calmly simply brushed me off with a smile.
わあ、いいこと聞いちゃったな。それってつまりいつでも放課後デートを受け付けてくれるってことだよね。
You know what we have to do? We have to, just like I was suggesting we do with Ayumu, we just have to apply a little bit of subtle manipulation. We just have to cry. We just have to cry. He will not be happy if he knows that by acting the way he is, he's gonna be making us upset. Thus, we subtly manipulate him into taking care of himself. It's devious, I know. Yeah, exploit his martyr complex.
Huh? But that's not...
あ、ゆっくりしてたら遅れちゃいそう。またお昼にね。
Kamui took off like he was trying to flee. Though he wasn't going very fast, I could catch up to him without transforming. I'd just make him more tired if I chase after him, though. Okay, I'll wait for him in the prep room. Before he departed, Kamui seemed more off-kilter than before. I couldn't see the future, but a foreboding feeling still rolled in my stomach. This is the day he fucks up, and the broadcast is wrong.
皆さん、
Yep. Then his broadcast began as I headed to the prep room. I don't want to hear this.
どうぞ。それではまた。
Cheers erupted from the class the moment Senna's broadcast ended. I hurried over to the prep room as quickly as I could. Spurred by my desire to see Kamui's face as soon as possible, I made my way into the chem lab and through the hidden passage.
あれ、さっきぶりだね。またお昼にって言わなかったっけ？
Yeah, you're resting, fucker. That was your suggestion. I never agreed to wait until the noon broadcast.
ちょっと待った。
Oh, Mr. Kudomori, you're here?
いたんです。最初からカムイくんの隣にね。それよりまたお昼にってどういうこと？君とは前にもここで会ったよね。もしかしてあれからずっとお昼の放送後にカムイくんに会いに来てるの？
Yeah? Oh, I never told Mr. Kudomori that Kamui and I had been eating lunch in the prep room. Yeah, that's right. Should I have reported it?
そうだね。聞いておきたかったかな。
Yeah, we're falling in love! Whoopsies!
ごめん。俺も報告するタイミングを逃してた。
本当にそれだけかい？
やだな。タイはないよ。
Wait,
ただ俺は。
Are we in? No, we still haven't escaped the possible bad end! Yeah.
お昼ご飯くらい落ち着いた環境で周囲の目を気にせず食べたいな。ゆっくり休みたいなとは思ってたけど。
だから内緒にしておきたかった。言い出しそびれてしまったってこと？
Kamui, that sounds so bad!
そういうことになるね。さすがまさきちゃん。読みが冴えてるね。
Yikes. Mr. Kudomori still looks suspicious, but he remained silent. They explicitly told me not to meet Senna during the broadcast, and I broke that promise. I'd been worried about Kamui, but the fact remains that I disregarded the rules. Yeah, Masaki-chan was everything. I'm sorry, Mr. Kudomori's phone rang at that moment, cutting me off.
もしもし、倉森です。
Uh-oh.
落ち着いてください。
There's vectors.
声がよく。わかりました。すぐにブルームズを向かわせます。
The vectors.
はい。
Blooms, does that mean vectors have appeared? But earlier Senna said...
とにかく今は害獣の対処が最優先です。
I knew it! I knew it! I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Mr. Koromori hung up abruptly, which I'd rarely seen him do. Then he turned to Kamui and me.
上層部からだった。居住エリアに害獣が出現したそうだ。急いで現場に向かってくれ。
Shit!
余地がまた
Yeah.
外れた。
And in a residential area. Kamui's face paled and he began to lean over as if on the verge of collapse. I rushed to his side. Kamui!
どうしよう。昼まで害獣は出ないって放送で言ったばっかりなのに。
Kamui's lips quivered with fear. I didn't know what to say to him.
二人とも聞こえなかったのかい？害獣が出現したのは居住エリアなんだ。
Kamui's head snapped up in surprise when he heard the commander's words.
被害を最小限に食い止めるためにも変身して現場に向かってくれ。
Oh
一
my
刻も
god.
早く。
I didn't even think of that. Oh god, I hope not. I liked his grandfather. I don't want him to die. I liked my weird Oyakodon.
A bright glimmer returned to Kamui's eyes as the commander's words sunk in. Well, now that's just manipulation on a bad scale.
行こう。
Yeah. Senna and I didn't wait for the others. We headed straight to the residential district. I thought the academy would be in chaos because Senna's prediction had been wrong, but to my surprise, everyone was in class as usual. I figured the higher-ups didn't sound the alarm because the vector appeared in a different area. While I had mixed feelings about that, it did mean we were able to leave the academy without anyone seeing us transformed. We just ran through the halls? That's luck. All we could hear was the blaring of the alarms and roars of the vectors when we arrived in the residential district. The rescue team isn't here yet. A lot of trees have been knocked down and the roads are destroyed, so maybe they're stuck.
今は害獣の対処が最優先ですわ。
I just noticed all the blood.
That's a lot of blood.
I know, but...
ですが、移動中にサイコキネシスを使って街路樹や建物の破片をどけていくことは可能ですわよね。
Nope. Yes, but only...
無理のない範囲で。でしょ？それくらい分かってますわ。
Senna nodded with a smug smile, then burst out laughing as if she couldn't hold it in. What? What's wrong?
ごめんなさい。こんな時にあなたとこういうやりとりをするのが久しぶりで、なんだか懐かしく思えてしまって。
Senna closed her eyes quietly, and for a moment she looked as though she might just disappear. I couldn't help but call out her name. Senna!
さてと、無駄話はここまでにして、害獣たちの声がする方へ
Yeah, we
急
really
ぎま
gotta
すわ
work.
よ。
Yeah, let's do this. Holy shit! Not after long. We found a horde of vectors that were destroying empty buildings. They hadn't noticed the people had already evacuated. That's more than I expected.
私たちの手には余りますわ。香りたちが到着するまでの間、この一帯から一匹も逃さないことに徹しましょう。
Got it. Senna and I set up a perimeter and blocked the vectors' paths while simultaneously corralling them into a single location. It'd be best if we could move them beyond the outer wall, but it's just not possible with only the two of us.
こうなってくると持久戦ですわね。
We backed into each other without knowing, Senna's elbow hitting my arm. I heard a pain groan and looked over my shoulder to see Senna wiping sweat from her brow and breathing heavily. Oh no, I think Senna's at her limit. I should act as a decoy and go ahead. That took place way out by the outer wall, but it may be. Please tell me, are we past it? Okay, good, we passed it, we're alive. However, the moment I made that decision.
よし、間に合ったかな。お待たせ、二人とも。
Okay. How many others deployed a resounding shockwave as they rushed into the scene?
遅いですわよ。どれだけ支度に時間がかかるんです？真打ちは遅れてやってくるって言うやろ。うちらが来たからにはもう大丈夫や。
Okay. I'll be counting on you then.
害獣の数が多い。作戦は？
Yeah, there's a lot of them. Focus on support. Senna, Mocha, and I will focus on backup so that Kaori and Haruka can use their powers. How does that sound?
私たちの体力を考えても今はそれが最善策ですわね。
ほならうちはセナたちのおもりを頑張ろうかな。
了解。
Alright. Kaori and Haruka moved as one and swiftly headed to the front lines. We changed the tide about in no time and soon took the offensive. At the rate we're going, I think we'll be able to push the vectors beyond the outer wall. Right when I was about to suggest as much, an innocent voice with a cruel edge cut through the air.
やっと出てきた。待ちくたびれて昼寝しちゃったよ。
Fuck. Yukinami? We all reflexively moved into a defensive stance while Yukinami continued nonplussed.
今度こそ僕と遊んだよね。この間そいつばっかり構っちゃって全然僕と遊んでくれないんだもん。
Yukinami pouted and pointed at Senna when he said her, but his mouth quickly morphed into a smile and he squealed like a child who had just found his favorite toy.
でもさ、昼間のこのエリアなら人間も多いし、そいつにばっかり構ってられないもんね。この前みたいに僕を放っておいたら大変なことになっちゃうんじゃない？
最低。何考えてるの？害獣を引き連れて街を壊して回ったのは遊び相手が欲しかっただけ。
Yikes. We all clearly showed our confusion and disgust, but Yukinami looked genuinely confused.
ごちゃごちゃ言われてもよくわかんない。僕と遊ぶの
Yukinami snapped with irritation and unleashed psychokinesis on a nearby building. Yukinami, calm down. Why don't we talk? Before I could finish my sentence, the debris from the building suddenly flung itself back towards Yukinami.
Psychokinesis again? Someone's aiming for Yukinami, but who?
こんな形で私たちの気を引いて嬉しい。
Oh, Senna. Turned out I didn't have to check who was attacking. Senna's voice shook as she raised her hands into the air.
自分に構って欲しくてすることがこれどこまで苦手ですのあなた。
何それ？僕と遊べないってこと？
こんなやり方間違ってますわ。
I don't think he understands that, honey.
はは？
Yep.
間違ってるとか正しいとか
There it is.
それが僕と何か関係あるの？僕
Well, the conversation was getting nowhere with them pushing back against one another. It was obvious neither would concede. So wait, does that mean... So far we've been... Each person has had their, like... Each bloom has had their, like, evildoer that they're against. So Haruka was against Hyuga. I guess Senna is against Yukinami. But who does that put Mocha and Kaori against? I guess Kaori would be against Moravia, but Mocha? Who would Mocha be against? Ah.
Blessings.
雪波は私が倒します。
Yeah.
Senna, wait!
Before I could stop her, Senna made her declaration and leapt straight for Yukinami.
もしかしなくてもセナ、直接攻撃を仕掛ける気なんちゃう？
Yeah, I don't know.
それ以外に考えられないと思うけど。
Us? I hope not.
There are still vectors remaining. We should split up. Oh.
Go with Senna. We go with Senna.
I'll move forward with Senna.
やっぱりね、そう言うだろうと思った。害獣の相手は私たちが引き受けるから、あんたはセナをよろしく。
Would that... maybe Kaori's against our uncle, and Mocha's against Moravia. I don't know.
Thanks.
I left the rest of them and hurried to catch up with Senna. I thought Yukinami's nimble attacks would cause us trouble again, but...
うわっ！ちょっとねえストップ！何本気になってるの？必死すぎでしょ。
No! Yukinami had been jumping around Senna, but now he actively tried to maintain his distance. Senna was able to read his movements with foresight and it backed Yukinami into a corner.
さあ、観念なさいな。
何それ？僕は別に負けてないし、ハンデをあげようかと思ったけど、もうやめた。この前は使い物にならなくて途中退場したくせに、そいつも全然普通に戦えるんじゃん。ずるい。
Yukinami worked himself up and looked like he was about to cry.
次はもっと害獣を連れてきて仕返ししてやる。
He threw out some bitter words like a sore loser before turning around and disappearing. The vectors who also changed directions and went towards the outer wall, following Yukinami.
ひとまず最悪の事態は免れたかな。 私はこのまま
Yeah.
害獣が外壁の外まで出ていくのを見
I
届け
don't
る。
know if I'm gonna like his
みんなは
route.
救助活動をお願い。
That does give me some real bad feelings for his route.
私も一緒に行く。その方がうちらも安心や。なあ。
Yeah, Senna, you should stay here. I turned to Senna for confirmation, but she was staring into the distance in silence. Yeah.
あっち、煙が出てる。
Oh no. Where? I tried to ask, but Senna didn't respond. In the next moment, she vanished, her pigtails flying behind her in the wind. Senna said there was smoke. Oh no. Oh no. I don't think he survived like Rizzy. Well, thank you everyone for boarding Prince Air. Please remember to keep your hands and feet inside the vehicle at all times. Remember, if you are unable to read at print speed, the VOD will always be available for you to pause and read in the future. Thank you so much for playing Prince Air. I didn't even read that.
ご覧の通り。ちいちゃん。
その声は
Oh, he's alive! He's alive! Mr. Zenji appeared with a surprised look on his face. Bandages wrapped around one of his arms.
害獣が出ている中、外を歩いてきたのか。お前たちは怪我はしなかっただろうな。
じいちゃんこそその包帯。骨は折れてるなら病院行かないと。
落ち着けカムイ。怪我は大したことない。
Your arms in a sling!
軽い切り傷と内身だ。
本当に。
Kami looked at him suspicious, but Mr. Zenji smiled a bit, albeit with a wince.
外で害獣に出くわしたが十分距離があった。ただ避難する人で辺りがごった返しておってうっかり足を取られて転んだだけだ。これくらいで怪我するなんじゃ情けない。
Don't play this music after we just got the scare of a lifetime!
そんなに心配するな。彼女にも見られてるぞ。
Not this music. I literally was terrified to think that Mr. Zenji had died. Mr. Zenji grinned and patted Kami on top of the head.
いつの間にっていうかちょっとじいちゃん俺もう子供じゃないんだから
No,
や
I
め
don't
て
think he is. I don't think he is. They didn't kill Rizzy, so I don't think. Are you saying? Yeah, Rizzy had so many death flags it wasn't even funny. He's throwing up some death flags, but this would have been the perfect time narratively for him to die. So if he's not dead, I think he'll be surviving. Sorry, I have to stand up and adjust my pants. I got them like way twisted under me.
照れるな照れるな。心配をかけて悪かった。君もカムイのおもりをありがとう。
I can't wait to see what other characters with death flags we're gonna get in the other routes.
じいちゃんがつまんない冗談を飛ばせるくらい元気だって分かってよかったよ。
And I'm thankful that you recovered enough to sass back.
え
ほほほ言うもんだな君も。ついでにカムイを連れて帰ってくれるかな。
Who knows?
ついでって連れ帰ってって。
そんなわけないだろバカ者が。さっき整備班から電話が来てな。わしも町に出てライフラインの被害状況を確認して回らなければならん。二人も学園から抜け出してきたんだろ。わしは大丈夫だからもう戻りなさい。
Mr. Zenji gave Kamui a pat on the back as if to encourage him to leave.
もしも具合とか悪くなったら。
Yeah, I just came here.
大丈夫だと言ってるだろう。
だからもしもだって急にどこかが痛くなったり体調に異変を感じたら すぐに俺に連絡して。
はいはい、その時までわしが覚えていたらな。
はあ、このジジイは本当に。
Yeah, life alert.
いい、俺との約束破ったらご近所さんにも協力してもらって八つ橋は当分禁止にするから、そのつもりでね。
Oh my goodness.
安心してくれ、必ず連絡する。
たく、この変わり身だもんな。信用していいんだかどうなんだか。
Conley, we should get going.
待たせてごめん。戻ろう。
Conley nodded, shaking off any doubts, and then turned to me with a brilliant smile. Yeah, we gotta go take care of other people too. After we were assured of Mr. Zenji's safety, we transformed again before returning to the command center. All those people we were trying to rescue, forgotten. Only the commander and Ryo were there. The others had already left.
勝手な行動をして申し訳ありませんでした。
Yeah, no, they didn't, because I don't think it can be localized. It's like a cinnamon sugar thing in like mochi. It's a glutinous rice flour treat with cinnamon. There is no such thing in America or the West. Period. I don't think they wanted to localize Grandpa out here just like chomping down on some Taco Bell cinnamon twists. I think that'd be a little too weird.
I'm sorry too.
二人とも顔を上げて。反省しているみたいだし、今回は不問とするよ。害獣を退けた後の行動だったわけだしね。セナ君のご家族の様子を見に行ったんでしょ。その行動は理解できるよ。
Senna and I nodded to show we understood, and Mr. Kuromori resumed his usual tone as our commander.
さて、この後のことだけど、セナ君は研究エリアに移動だよ。
Oh no.
研究エリアに。
担当者が迎えに来ているから、富塚君と一緒に案内してもらって。
Uh-oh. The commander made it clear it was not up for debate. This must have come from the higher ups.
わかりましたわ。
Senna obviously didn't want to go, but she followed Ryo nonetheless. I guess. He's a weird taxi man. I have a bad feeling about this. Is it really okay to let Senna go? Senna! I called out to stop her. Senna paused and turned around to playful smile on her lips.
帰ってきたらまた一緒に緑茶を飲みましょう。私が茶葉から入れて差し上げますわ。じいちゃんほど上手じゃないけどね。
Yeah, what the fuck is gonna happen between this and the ending? I'm curious.
Of course. 楽しみにしてますわ。
行くぞ。
Ryo urged Senna onward, and we walked out without looking back. Unless Ryo ends up being one of the bad guys in that Tumoka fights.
君に言わなきゃならないことがあるんだ。
Oh, yeah! The commander turned to me after Senna and Ryo had left through the door behind him. Yeah.
これからしばらくの間、セナ君は研究エリアで謹慎することになった。
Oh no. What? I thought I'd surely misheard, but the commander's grim expression told me I hadn't. This was really happening.
これはセナ君を守るためなんだ。
Yep, she predicted wrong.
この後、セナ君にとって辛いことが起こる。そのダメージを最小限にとどめるためにも、研究エリアに居場所を移した方がいいと思う。セナ君が不在の間、ブルームズの活動は君たち4人で行ってもらうことになるから、そのつもりでね。残念だけど決定事項だ。香織たちにも伝達済みだよ。
Darkness clawed at the sides of my vision. The news had completely blindsided me. Is this because she disobeyed orders and left? I did the same thing.
その件は不問にするって言っただろ。
Then why is it being held in the research district?
セナ君の余地が外れたのはどうしてだと思う？
I thought he might have been trying to change the subject, but the commander looked entirely serious. I imagine it happened because she was exhausted. She looked pale this morning too.
そっか。君はそう思ってるんだ。
You literally have not told us what happens when we fall in love, so no, we wouldn't know. The commander pondered this briefly.
Yeah, she's in love.
Is there another reason?
僕からの話は以上だ。授業に戻りなさい。
Fucker. Commander, Mr. Kuromori, please tell me.
セナ君を守りたいならもう行きなさい。
Alright. Yeah, apparently we're not in love. Well, we're also not using our power, so it doesn't matter. My legs felt heavy as I walked back to school. Suddenly I heard someone say Senna's name.
信じられない。
Oh god.
今回のことで。
Oh my god. I understand that they're worried, but they don't freeze like that. But this is what the commander meant when he said things would get tough for her. From that day on, Senna cast foresight 5 times a day instead of 3. However, the broadcast was cancelled and her predictions were relayed through a news program. Reducing her exposure to the public would reduce her stress, or at least that's how the commander explained it. Perhaps these measures were effective because Senna's prediction became 100% accurate again, but still... Yeah... They still won't let me tell me how Senna's doing. The commander will always avoid the topic. Just what's going on? I knew she wasn't allowed visitors, but they could have at least told me how she was doing. Instead, they just changed the subject every time. If this continues, I'll have to sneak into the research center and do a check on her myself. Amazing. I love that that's where our brain goes. We're like, all right, well, if you're not going to let me see her, I'll sneak in and see her myself. My phone suddenly rang. It's a private number. Who could be at this hour? Is it an emergency deployment? Yes, this is Takanashi.
よかった。元気そうだね。
Yay! He figured out how to contact us! No, wait, that voice! Kamui!
うん、そうだよ。もしかして、他の人からの連絡待ってた？
Huh? No, it's not that. It's late, so I thought it was an emergency. He figured out how to use the phone!
まあ、そうだよね。ごめん。なかなか一人になれるタイミングがなくて、こんな時間になっちゃったんだ。っていうか、今話してても大丈夫？もう寝るところだった？
I love we're sneaking around this. That was good. I shouted with perhaps too much enthusiasm, and I hear Kamui laughing on the other end.
ならよかった。こんばんは。久しぶり。
久しぶり。
Which laugh? Did I...
Yeah, it has.
It was really Kamui! As that realization sank in, I found all I could say was a bog standard reply.
あんまり長くは話せないから、俺は元気にしてるよってことだけ。君に、香織たちにもよろしく言っておいてくれる？ああ、でも、自分で言いに来なさいよって突っ返されるのがオチかな。
Yeah.
That's probably true. Once they let you out, just come over to the command center. Everyone's waiting for you.
He's not gonna be let out!
Emily?
いや、ここのところ出動続きじゃない？謹慎が明けて顔を見せに行ったら、その場で香織たちに取り囲まれそうだなって。
Yeah, you should brace yourself for that.
あ、やっぱり？
When do you think they'll let you go?
I couldn't help but ask, even though I knew the question would put pressure on Conley.
君にはぶっちゃけるけどいい？
Yes, of course. Please tell me.
正直なところ、決まってないっぽいんだよね。
Never. What? You mean they're just gonna keep you there?
うん。びっくりでしょ。俺もさ、正直甘く見積もってたんだよね。セナを書いた状態じゃ、ブルームズのメンバーの負担は増えていく一方になるし、適当なとこでまた最前線に戻れるんだろうなって。けど、上層部としては、セナには予知に専念してほしいみたいなんだよね。前線でバリバリ戦える香織やはるかならともかく、セナのサイコキネシスはそこまで重要度は高くないって感じっぽいんだよね。話聞く限りだと。いやでも上層部の言い分もわかるんだよね。モカのギフトアビリティは対害獣向きだし、君のブーストも現場に欠かせないけど、セナのライフロットは場所を選ばないじゃない？
Yeah,
無理やり現場まで出て行ってスタミナが切れて足手まといになる方が問題だしね。
Don't say that. No one sees you as a liability.
ごめん。言い方が悪かったね。俺が嫌だったんだ。自分の力不足が原因で、これ以上ブルームズのみんなに迷惑をかけるのが。だから上層部の判断を受け入れたんだ。しばらくの間は研究エリアにとどまって、そこから 余地を届けていこうって思ってる。
You've already made up your mind. It was almost painful how much determination he'd poured into that single word.
大丈夫だよ。謹慎と称して研究エリアに閉じ込められて余地の力を酷使させられているなんてことないから、そこは安心して。それに味方がいないわけじゃないんだ。
Oh?
匿名希望だから正体は明かせないんだけど。
Oh?
An anonymous ally?
うさんくさいよね。でもやることはやってくれるからその点は信用してるんだ。端末もその人に貸してもらったものだし、監視されずに通話する時間も作ってもらったしね。
I can think of someone who has that much power. A name floated through my mind, but I didn't press the matter any further.
そういうわけだからあんまり心配しないで。
He knew exactly what I was gonna do.
間違っても研究エリアに押し入らないでよ。
What? I wouldn't do that.
その反応、やっぱりやる気だったんだ。君って意外とちょとつ猛進なとこあるから放っておくと危ないと思ったんだよね。とにかくまたタイミングを見計らって連絡するから、それまで暴走しないように。いい？
I'll try.
ちょっとそこは分かりました一択じゃない？
If you don't want me to do anything reckless, then contact me again as soon as possible.
なるほど、そうきたか。うん、善処します。
We are blackmailing him. Yeah, this is called positive manipulation. Calmly chuckled as he threw my words back at me. My heart ached hearing his laugh after so long.
それじゃおやすみ。
おやすみ。
We hung up and the screen on my phone went dark. I knew he wasn't there anymore, but I couldn't let it go. Well, damn. That was really, like, unfortunate. Oh my god, it's the final one before the end.
Yesterday marked 1 week since Conley had contacted me. Since then, I'd only spoken with him that one time and hadn't heard any news about him being let out. I knew I could get impatient sometimes, but I'd also noticed some concerning changes. Before, Senna's predictions had been broadcast 5 times a day, but they'd switched to irregular updates. The announcer said the vectors hadn't been appearing as much in the past few days, but maybe Senna isn't able to use foresight. Conley had contacted me through a private number, so I couldn't reach him that way. The only recourse I had was to speak directly with the commander. I waited until school was over and hurried to him.
それに
Yeah, anonymous ally. Uh-huh. We literally just heard that. It's gotta be Kuromori. Someone who can make contact with Conley and enter the research district without issues, that narrows down the possibilities a lot. Out of that small group of people, the person Conley would describe like that has got to be the commander. The commander's been avoiding talking about Conley, but I'll make sure he does today. Wow, we're just gonna quarter this man. Some students said they'd seen Mr. Kuromori go into the lab prep room, so I figured he was heading to the command center. When I arrived, Yo was also there. The two of them were discussing something.
的中率自体は元に戻りましたけど、セナ本人は相変わらず落ち着かない様子ですね。
They're talking about Senna. I thought I'd see what they had to say about Kami, so I stopped where I was.
いつまた余地を外してしまうかと考えたら、そりゃ不安定にもなるよ。もしかしたらセナ本人は不調の原因もよく分かっていない可能性もあるしね。
だが間違いないんでしょ。
There it is!
いえ、サイバラが彼女に対して恋愛感情を抱いているのは。
There it is. Huh? My hand flew over my mouth to suppress a yell. Kamui likes someone? We eat together almost every day, and he's never said anything of this sort. Thinking about it set a page through my heart.
カムイ君がどこまで気持ちを自覚しているかは正直なところ僕も測りかねているんだけどね。彼女がカムイ君に会いに来た時の表情、彼のあんな顔を見たらすぐにわかるよ。
Wait, Kamui likes me? My brain short-circuited when I heard those words. I felt as if I couldn't breathe and my heart pounded out of my chest. We have a really bad habit of walking on things we're not supposed to hear.
二人は以前から頻繁に会っていたみたいなんだ。
Yeah, thank God.
完全に僕の監督不行き届きだよ。昨日も家族が心配してるだろうから連絡したいって言われてもろもろ手配したんだけど、
I knew it.
通話の相手は彼女も含まれてたのかな。
まさきちゃん for the win。
彼女の方はサイバラに答える気があるんですか？
それ以前の段階かな。彼女はカムイ君の気持ちに気づいていないと思うよ。あの受け答えからして十中八九。
Oh my god。
再度確認した方がいいんじゃないですか？
確実に裏を取りたい気持ちもわかるけど、下手したらやぶへびになるかもよ。
Well, we're not aware. At a certain point, I could no longer understand what they were talking about. My pulse raced faster and faster, so I ran away from the command center. Was what he said true? But if so, that means Senna's foresight issues are because of me? I wish I could have laughed it off, just chalked it up to being overly self-conscious. Kamui hadn't said anything directly to me after all. But considering the state he was in, I knew they couldn't be joking. They practically imprisoned him for crying out loud.
結局セナが予知を外したのって。
I overheard a couple of guys who were walking toward me. What they said made me frown.
けどさ、いつまた外すかわかんないじゃん。まあ確かに。一回信用。
As usual, they just go off without knowing anything about the situation. It's easy when you're safe and don't have to take any responsibility. Maybe I'm no different than them. I know Kamui's in a terrible situation, but it feels like we're forcing all the responsibility onto him. I felt utterly pathetic. My hand clenched into a fist and I stared down at it. Yeah, I don't know.
できることなら。
Oh, yes.
頼む。この通りだ。
Yeah. Mr. Zenji pleaded with me, but I let Kamui go.
じゃあ。
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Thanks for the flashbacks. Literally read that not a while ago. I made Kamui a promise as well. The promise we exchanged wasn't just about going to see Mr. Zenji again either. The last time Kamui did a pinky swear was with his late mother, but she wasn't able to keep it. Please don't mom zone me again. And then he chose me to make that same kind of promise with. I smacked my face with both hands. Okay, that hurt a bit, but it got me amped up. I didn't care about the funny looks people were giving me. I knew in my heart I had to do the right thing. I didn't make that promise half-heartedly. That's not wow, that was not English. That's not how I do things, right? That's not how I do things, right? There we go. Wow, that was the wrong inflection, too. I didn't speak English, got the wrong inflection. Third time's the charm. I already knew the answer. Next time we're summoned. Oh, God. Okay. We were deployed a few hours later. Luckily, Yukinami and Moravia weren't there. We faced only a small group of vectors near the outer wall. Normally, it would have been an easy mission, but with Senna gone and the four of us already exhausted, we didn't get back to the command center until dusk.
みんな、今夜もお疲れ様。
みんな、ね。
セナの余地に頼れなくなって八つ当たりか。
Oh my god.
最近は個々の動きに制裁を書くだけじゃなく。
You don't have to be so rude about it. I interrupted him, unable to stay silent. Kaori might have been sarcastic, but Ryo's comments were out of line.
いや、君の言う通りなんだけど。
The commander attempted to mediate, but didn't quite know what to say. Then Haruka unexpectedly chimed in.
そこまで分析しておいて対策は？何の提案もないなら意味がない。
そんなこの人らに期待しても無駄や。確かにセナは予知の力が目立っとったけど後方支援のエキスパートやで。連携の要やったセナを取り上げておいてあの言い草やもん。しょうもな。
現状をどうにかしたいならセナの謹慎を解いていつまで研究エリアに閉じ込めておく気なの？
Mocha and Kaori jumped in too, unable to hold back. Everyone was at their wits' end and the room felt like a powder keg about to explode. Yeah, exactly.
ほら、やっぱり溜め込んでいたでしょ。
Oh my god, shut the fuck up, I hate you. I have no time for this fuckery. Ryo directed his gaze toward the commander, but he let out a defeated sigh.
君たちがセナ君を心配してるってことはもう十分すぎるくらい伝わってきました。
How's she doing right now? She's been overusing foresight, so she's suffering from memory loss?
セナ君ならこれまで通り頑張っているよ。個人的には頑張りすぎだとも思う。でもね、それがセナ君自身の希望なんだ。
No, that
2
didn't.
度も余地を外し
How much can I trust the commander on this? He avoided my question about the side effects. I didn't like thinking about it, but it was entirely possible that Senna was in a bad way.
これからは適宜セナ君のことを報告するよ。今日のところはそれで納得してほしい。
None of us protested what he said, but we didn't agree to it either.
それじゃ今日は解散。ゆっくり休んでね。
お疲れ。
Yeah, shut up. You don't feel that. Real sorry to follow the commander, but then he turned back as if he wanted to say something more. In the end, he didn't say a word and walked silently out of command center. Though the commander and Rio had left, the rest of us didn't move. Now's the time. Things only get worse if I don't take this opportunity. What do you think about what the commander said? I don't think Senna should be left alone like this. Knowing her, she probably really is volunteering to cast Foresight more. I could use Augment to produce the strain on her. That's why I proposed that we go get her. Yep. I said it. I really did. Father stared back at me in shock. I didn't regret saying it, but I was so nervous. I was sure my heart would pound out of my chest.
それがあんたの本心？
I am.
即答だね。まあそうじゃないと困るけど。
Yep. What?
あんたが本気じゃなきゃいくら私が手を貸したところで意味ないなってこと。
Rescue mission. Rescue mission. Then you mean?
私だって今みたいにセナ一人に責任を押し付けるようなやり方は間違ってると思う。
せやな、うちも協力するわ。副作用のこと考えたら周りが止めなあかんのに、セナが自主的にとか。
So wait, will Senna not stay a girl? Well, I don't know.
私もやれることはやる。仮にも同じチームに所属するメンバーが上層部に使い潰されるのは気分が悪い。
Thank you so much. I started to tear up, but then Cody smacked me on the back.
泣くのもお礼を言うのもまだ早いよ。セナの顔を見た後ならいくらでも聞くからさ。
That's right. Okay, so we need to gather some info first.
その必要はない。見当ならついてる。
そうだね。私が案内するからはるかとモカは残ってくれる？ないとは思うけど害獣の吸収に備えたいし。
キカ？Today, I laid down while I was doing some writing, and you were happy to cuddle. Blessings.
ええよ、任されたる。ゾロゾロついていって悪目立ちしても嫌やし。
She's a very sweet kitty. Pat pats! Oh no, it didn't stick. A pat. Yeah, I gave the Kiki a pat as she walked by.
She's prowling around.
私の気が変わらないうちに早く行って。
Why would you change your mind? Okay.
Thank you. We'll be off then.
All right, let's go. Let's fucking do this.
お待たせ。監視カメラいじってきたから少しの間はバレないと思う。
Amazing. Thanks for waiting. I messed with the security cameras. Wow, you know how to do that?
器用でしょ。昔ちょっとね。ところで確認しておきたいんだけど、あんたの方は事前準備とかしてあるの？もしセナが研究エリアから出たいって言ったらどうするつもり？
No.
かくまう場所は確保してる？
I was surprised by all the questions, but they showed me how worried Cody was about Senna. I figured that for now, if we can bring her to where her family lives in the residential district, I'm sure Senna will feel at ease there.
それを聞いてほっとした。本当のこと言うとさ、私は何が何でもあんたにセナを連れ出してもらう気だったんだ。セナ本人がああだこうだ言ってきたら問答無用であんたに担ぎ上げてもらって、そのまま研究所エリアから追い出す計画。
She loves fucking with authority. Cody might have sounded like she was joking, but I knew she was dead serious.
指令や上層部がうるさいだろうけど、そっちは私たちがどうとでもするから、あんたはセナを助け出すことだけに集中して。
Okay.
This feels so different from the other floors. Cody suddenly stopped in front of me and confirmed my hunch was right.
セナがいるとしたら、この先にある研究室だと思う。
Oh?
昔、とある研究者がタブーを犯して以来、
What rule?
噂だけど、研究対象の能力者たちが駆け落ちするのを見逃したんだって。
His parents! His parents!
能力を失ったって聞いた。当時から在籍してた研究者じゃなくて新入りが情報源だから真偽のほどは怪しいけど。
I think it's his parents. Because we know his parents went into the research center to have a test done, and then they disappeared. They were in an accident and disappeared.
I wonder if that's really true. Will those of us with powers lose them if we fall in love?
それじゃあ私は入り口で見張ってるからあんた一人で行ってきて。
Got it. At long last, I was almost there. I swallowed my fears and headed into the back room. I'm here to rescue you. The room was silent. All I could hear was the sound of my own footsteps. Maybe she's not here. I thought I could check the next room, but right when I was about to turn around... Oh, baby. I sensed someone else's presence, turned to face them. I found Kamui untransformed. Kamui! I ran to him at once. He looked dazed and wasn't moving. He didn't seem to notice me as I approached. Kamui! Hey! Kamui! I looked into his eyes and tried to get him to focus. I gently touched his shoulder and called his name, silently praying that he was okay. Come on, Kamui.
君は誰?
Oh. Thanks. His eventual response cut me to the quick. I gasped and fell to my knees. Did he forget about me? Has he continued to use foresight even in this state?
ねえ、君どこか痛いの? 泣きそうな顔してる。
Of course he would worry about others even in this situation. I didn't know whether to get angry or smile, so I just scrubbed my hands on my face. Kamui looked down at me, confusion etched into his features. I tried to speak in a gentle tone to calm him down.
Kamui, it's me, Prince.
Oh, quick save. Let's go see Mr. Zenji.
I've come to get you. Let's go see Mr. Zenji.
Zenji.
Kamui mumbled to himself, letting the name sink in, but that was all he did.
Has he forgotten his grandfather too? But that's so...
やっぱりどこか痛いの? 大丈夫?
I'm fine. I'm relieved I finally found you.
This is not the time to get dejected. I have to get Kamui out of here no matter what. I couldn't let him stay here a second longer in this state. No, we call his grandfather by Mr. Zenji.
Please, just don't ask any questions and follow me.
ダメだよ。怒られちゃうもん。
He didn't say who, but it had to be one of the people in charge. The commander said that Kamui chose to stay here and use foresight, but that was clearly a lie. I couldn't stand what they'd done to him. I seized Kamui's hand.
I'll protect you, please.
Let me keep my promise.
約束.
We swore we'd go visit Mr. Zenji again together. He'll be sad and worried about you if I left you here.
I kept trying to talk to him, but it didn't seem like I was getting through. He just stared at me, assessing the situation.
Kamui, you told me you didn't want to make your gramps worry.
Yeah.
You said that you never felt lonely because he was there for you, so why can't you...
My emotions... Wow, that was... Prince buffered there.
My emotions overtook me then, and I couldn't find the right words to say. I couldn't hold back my tears as they spilled down my cheeks and dropped onto our interlocking hands. Then Kamui gasped.
We look like a clown.
じいちゃんが心配する。
Yahoo! We found out our body fluids work.
だから約束。そうだ。
Kamui, you just said my name.
あの時指切りまでしたのに。俺どうして忘れたりしたんだろう。
Just stand still, honey. I'll spit on you whenever you need.
When he said the words Pinky swore, my fears melted away, and reassurance taking their place. You're getting your memory back! Thank goodness, I'm so glad!
I sobbed and gripped Kamui's hand tighter.
Kamui, you can't stay here! We have to go!
I helped Kamui stand up, and we hurried into the hall where Kaori was waiting. Sorry, I've had to...
Kaori? そっか。君も協力してくれたんだ。
Hey.
Sorry that you had to learn about who he was. Maybe he'd rather be spent. I don't know, I was thinking of the quickest way to get body fluids on him from a distance, and my only options were pee or spit. I think spit is the better of the two.
Oh, right, Kamui is Senna.
Do you know him, Kaori?
あんたも知ってたんだ。
Kaori muttered something to herself but started walking away before I could ask.
急ごう。もうすぐ外出禁止時間になる。シャッターを壊してエリアを移動したら、さすがの私でもごまかしきれないからね。
Yes, but you can't do that at a distance. Now can you? Checkmate. I almost said check mark, and that's incorrect. Checkmate. Kaori's amazing. I thought Sena's identity would have shocked her, but she's right back to her professional self. I should better focus on getting Kamui out Why can't I speak? Kamui out safely. I could blow a kiss, yes, but that does not contain bodily fluids. And as we learned, our bodily fluids are there's a lot of amplified our bodily fluids, I guess.
私がついていくのはここまで。あとはあんたたち二人で頑張って。
Thank you so much, Kaori.
ありがとう。オンに切る。
You want to try throwing sweat? You want to try throwing sweat? It's gonna be easier to spit.
それだけ？
ごめん。はるかとモカにも伝えておいてくれる。この借りは必ず返すから待ってって。
Okay, they still haven't gotten to an ending yet.
まあ、及第点かな。借りが返せるようになったら、ここに連絡して。
Kaori took out a piece of paper and handed it to Kamui. I had no idea what she'd written.
あの部屋から姿を消した能力者たちがどうなったのかわからないけど。
Kaori mumbled something as Kamui reached for the paper.
私は、きっとセナは能力をなくした方が幸せになれるような気がする。
そうなのかもしれないね。
Kamui's voice sounded so gentle in that moment. I couldn't read his mind, but that single word struck me to my core. I will never let him go again. With that resolve, I took Kamui's hand as we headed into Mr. Zenji's house. Please, 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 please. No, still not.
じいちゃん、ただいま。
カムイ？それに君も。
I'm sorry we showed up unannounced. Could Kamui stay here and rest?
ああ、布団を敷くからそこで横になりなさい。ほら、こっちだ。
Seeing how exhausted Kamui was, Mr. Zenji hurried into the back room. Kamui followed after him, dragging his feet.
Thank goodness. Kamui should be able to relax here.
I breathed a sigh of relief and suddenly felt weak, as if I might collapse on the spot. I guess I've been more nervous than I thought.
カムイを連れてきてくれてありがとう。君も少し休みなさい。
No, well, there's something I need to tell you.
お茶を入れてこよう。
Are we telling him everything?
少し待っていてくれ。
We're not supposed to? Are we breaking that rule too? The delicate flavor of Mr. Zenji's tea warmed my weary soul. After a slight break, I managed to regain my composure and bowed an apology to Mr. Zenji.
I'm sorry again. I can't really tell you the details, but would it be okay if Kamui stayed here for the time being? He's overworked himself on a project he's a part of, and he's utterly exhausted. He's actually suffering from some memory loss.
記憶に障害?
Yes, he had some of the symptoms previously, but then he overdid it and they got worse. He temporarily forgot who you and I were. Mr. Zenji, I know I promised you, but I let Kamui go for a bit. Because of that, he...
君のせいじゃない。自分を責めないでくれ。
Watch that be the exact same power his mother had.
No, I'm really...
I tried to argue, but Mr. Zenji shook his head.
何があろうと、最後に決めるのは自分自身。無理を通そうとしたのも、それによって記憶に障害が出たのも、カムイ自身の選択の結果だ。だから、君が自分を責める必要なんてないんだよ。選んだ結果は、自分が責任を取らなきゃならん。今後のこともカムイ次第だ。
俺はプロジェクトから降りないよ。
Kamui! I gasped and turned to find Kamui, even though he was supposed to be resting. Yeah.
みんなが必要としてくれるんだ。俺はそれが嬉しい。もっと頑張らなきゃとさえ思ってる。
Mr. Zenji's spit won't help. It has to be my spit.
けど、俺が頑張れば頑張るほど、じいちゃんや 君を、大切な人たちを悲しませることになる。そんなのは絶対嫌だし、それにじいちゃんのことを忘れるのは苦しいよ。
それでもそのプロジェクトから降りる気はないんだろ？
Have we confirmed that theory? Well, it was confirmed in Ayumu's route. Literally, our spit. We shared spit. And that helped him. So.
That was what Kamui had said, but now he seemed at a loss for words and just shook his head.
わからない。わからないんだ。俺自身、どうしたらいいのか。
Yeah.
自分が本当はどうしたいと思ってるのか。
カムイ、こっちに来て座りなさい。
Mr. Zenji beckoned Kamui over in a gentle yet commanding tone.
お前にとって誰かから必要とされることがどれほど大事なことか、わしはよくわかってる。だから、
We need you, Kamui.
もう止めたりはしない。
We need you.
それに、わしのことなんか忘れて結構。順番通りなら、どう頑張ったってわしの方がお前より早く死ぬからな。
Why would you say that?
こんな老いぼれのことはさっさと忘れてしまえ。大事な孫の重荷になるくらいなら、そっちの方がずっといい。
The martyr complex is genetic!
何言ってるんだよ、じいちゃん。
Kamui was clearly agitated. Mr. Zenji patted him on the shoulder in an effort to calm him down.
いいか、カムイ。よく聞きなさい。お前が自分の信念を貫いた結果、わしのことを忘れたとしても構やしない。
Yeah.
ただし、わしの代わりにこれからお前と一緒に生きていってくれる誰かを見つけなさい。
Wait, don't say me.
その人のことは何が何でも忘れるな。
No.
絶対に手を離すんじゃない。
じいちゃんの代わりなんているわけない。なんでそんなこと言うんだよ。
Kamui rushed forward as if he was going to grab his grandfather by the collar. But Mr. Zenji didn't say anything and just simply stared at Kamui.
確かに。プロジェクトを降りないなら、じいちゃんの死に目にも会えないかもしれない。けど、俺は。
Don't grandpa or mom zone me!
選べないよ。
Mr. Zenji was pushing Kamui away for his sake, and Kamui was stuck between his love for his grandfather and the mission. I understood both sides, so I spoke up. Kamui?
Here's our quick save. Here's our stats. Oh, this is the final choice.
I'll respect your decision. I respect your feelings, Kamui. Whatever you decide, we'll face the consequences together. We can share the burden.
君にそこまでさせられないよ。
Well, there we go, 100%. No matter what you say, I'm going with you. I have decided to never leave you again. We'll find the best path together.
参ったな。君が一緒だと思うと、投げやりにもできないや。
Exactly. Kamui shrugged as if he were giving in, but I could see a faint smile playing on his face. If you decide to continue with the mission, I'll lend you my strength. And if it seems like you're about to lose your memories, I'll make sure you remember.
差し伸べてくれる手は近くにあるみたいだぞ。
Thank you, Grandpa. This could get really ugly otherwise. Kamui looked to his grandfather, then to me, and then he took my hand and grasped it tightly.
俺はまだ戦いたい。だから力を貸してくれないかな。
Of course.
I answered without hesitation and squeezed his hand. I'll support Kamui no matter what, because I always want him to be happy. I knew it was easier said than done, but I was ready for whatever lay ahead. From that moment on, I'd never let him go. Uh-oh. Let's see what end that we got. Happy! Fuck yes! So, we have confirmed the process that we cannot use our powers at all if we want to get a happy end. Mocha's voice pierced the silence. We looked over to Kaori and Haruka, who were the only other ones here, for now at least. Yeah. It is very ominous. Senna smiled with confidence, but I noticed her hand was shaking ever so slightly. I believe it's gonna work. I wasn't just saying that, I truly believed it with all my heart. I squeezed Senna's hand, and her eyes widened before she gave me a small smile. Yeah, it is a little scary. But this all started a few days ago. We spent some time relaxing at Mr. Zenji's house, and Kamui recovered little by little. Then one day... Kamui came to talk to me when Mr. Zenji was out doing work with the maintenance crew.
俺、司令たちに会いに行こうと思ってる。直接会って新しい戦術を提案したいんだ。成功するかどうかはわからないけど、試す価値はあると思う。
Great, let's hear it.
君ならそう言ってくれると思ってた。新しい戦術なんてカッコつけて言ったけど、要はライフロットの使い方を変えるだけなんだよね。これまで俺がセナが予知していたのは害獣がコロニーを襲撃するタイミングだった。害獣がいつどこに現れるかを予知することでコロニーのみんなを避難させてきたけど、
What if you focus on where we get attacked?
予知のタイミングをもっと前にずらせるなら害獣を外壁内へ侵入させずに済むはずなんだ。
You mean switching your focus earlier?
そうそう。害獣の進路を予知できればコロニーにたどり着く前に倒せるんじゃないって作戦なんだけど。どうかな？
I would think he would predict our strategies for getting to the heart of the vector problem, but I guess we're not basing that on his route. That sounds amazing. Can you really do that?
予知で遡る時間が長くなる分、それだけ不確定要素も増えると思うけど、理屈上はいけるはず。害獣の行動を先読みして、向こうが襲ってくる前にブルームズから先制攻撃を仕掛けられたら、今までよりずっと有利になると思わない？
And if we can keep the vectors at bay outside, the people in Theta won't be in danger.
うまくいけばだけどね。
Well, even so, you're right that it's worth trying. Yeah. That's gonna be from the final battle, and then we're gonna kiss, and he's gonna regain his memories.
ありがとう。そう言ってもらえて本当に心強いよ。この戦術にはみんなの力が必要なんだ。
Well, I haven't used it.
君にもブーストでサポートしてもらうことになると思う。
Okay. You can count on me. I'm sure Kaori and the others will help out too.
自分だけ安全な場所に逃げておいて、今さらなんだって思われるかもしれないけど、俺はみんなのことを信じてる。だから可能性に希望にかけたい。
Alright, well, we're doing that. After I heard Kamui's plan, I immediately contacted Kaori. Kaori arranged a place for us to talk, and Kamui and I returned to the academy for the first time in a while.
なるほど。確かに試す価値のある提案だね。少なくともライフロットのタイミングを前倒しするという点においては。
So?
早速、今から試してみよう。責任は僕が持つ。
自分の身体をかけるの間違いじゃないんですか？どうせ今回も上層部には何も報告しないまま勝手にやらせるつもりなんでしょう。
Again? So, the commander of Rio didn't say anything when Senna and I escaped from the research district? I had trouble believing that, but it also explained the nagging feeling I'd had that something was off when we escaped. Cowdy did something to the security cameras and said we'd avoid being spotted for a bit, but even so, the place had been completely deserted. There weren't any researchers wandering around, nor any security. It's like someone knew we were coming and made sure we weren't seen. It was also odd that no one came to Mr. Zenji's house. Maybe someone prevented that from happening?
上層部の許可を待ってたらとんでもない時間のロスになるからね。
Masaki-chan.
現場判断ってやつだよ。
まさきちゃん。
本当にいいんですの？
君たちはブルームズの一員としてこの指令室に帰ってきたんだろ？
Alright.
部下を信じて送り出すのも指令の仕事だよ。
Alright, Kuramori. You're starting to grow on me. You were concerningly creepy for a little bit, but now you're better.
いいこと言うじゃん、司令。ちょっとグッときたかも。
ま、そこそこ。
君たちね、こういう時ばっかり息ぴったりなんだから。
Yeah.
You can rest assured, we'll show those vectors what we're made of.
ええ、いい知らせをお届けしますわ。
期待してるよ、みんな。
Senna predicted that the vectors would appear next in the evening. Would next appear in the evening. We moved to a location where fighting would be easier and waited for them to show. Okay.
Suddenly, a bestial roar echoed without warning. There was no mistaking that sound.
あちらさん、キヨ、雪並みも一緒ですわね。
Senna's eyes narrowed when she spotted Yukinami. Kaori and Haruka, who were on standby, immediately snapped to attention as well.
やっほー、遊びに来てやったよ。わざわざ間隔開けたんだから前回みたく簡単にへばらないでよね。ってあれ、今日は5人揃ってるじゃん。なるほどね。だからまた僕が来るのに合わせてお出迎えするようになったんだ。
Yukinami pointed at us while shouting gleefully. His eyes were positively glittering with joy.
僕に負けるのが嫌でてっきり逃げ出したのかと思ったけど、いいねいいね、そう来なくっちゃ。
盛り上がってるところ悪いんだけど、私たち戦うつもりはないよ。
そんなこと言って僕が油断すると思った？残念。そんなのお見通しだよ。
違う、残念なのはそっちの頭。私たちは戦うつもりがないって言ってる。
Yukinami started in surprise at Haruka's insistence.
は？本気で戦わないつもり？
Yeah, come on,
だ
join
ったら
us.
何のために来たわけ？全然意味わかんないんだけど。ああ、もうそっちがその気ならいいよ。
お待ちなさい。
Senna had foreseen which way he'd moved and was standing right in Yukinami's path. Are we gonna get him captured and taken in by the higher-ups for experimentation?
どこへ行くつもりですの？この先には何もありませんわよ。
そんな嘘に騙されるわけないじゃん。今さら僕の相手をする気になったってもう遅いよ。
I am confused. I don't
人
know.
間がいっぱい
I don't think
住んで
so.
るシータの場所なら僕ちゃんと知ってるんだから。
ええ、そうですわね。ここが本当にあなたの知る場所だったなら。
What?
何？何なの？
What is that supposed to mean?
Just listen for a moment. Senna predicted your movements.
I look over towards Senna. I took over after Senna, trying to explain the situation without antagonizing him.
We used Kaori's ability ahead of time
before you were able to get the theta.
能力を使ったって。
I
僕に
guess?
嘘ばっかり。攻撃なんて受けてないし。
Kaori's power is hypnosis.
だろうね。私の能力、マインドオペレートは仕掛けられた側には攻撃とは感じないからさ。
マインドオペレート？
Yukinami's shock was unsurprising. As Kaori said, a person would never know they'd been hypnotized. Our first step is complete. Is it? What is the first step? Yeah, mind operetta. About an hour ago, we'd ascertained Yukinami's path using Senna's foresight and then took a slight detour.
よし、背後を取った。あとは雪並様ご一行にマインドオペレートをかければこっちのもんだね。
Operetto. It's a to at the end, not a ta.
それにしてもよく思いついたよね。外壁の外にある廃墟を私たちが住むシータだと思い込ませるなんて作戦。
Wow, okay. Interesting.
あなたのおかげですわ。
Is it? Huh? I didn't do anything. I had no idea what she meant. I shook my head. But Senna I shook my head, but Senna continued with a serious expression on her face.
いいえ、あなたがいたから気づけたんです。これまでは自分が愛されることに必死で、
What does that have to do with
何
this
でも一人
plan?
で背負い込もうとしていたんだって。
What does that have to do with this plan?
だから今の私は使えるものはとことん使い倒しますわよ。
Okay. That's kind of a weird way to phrase it. Wouldn't it be better to just say you're able to rely on us now?
私、自分に正直に生きるって決意を新たにしたばかりですの。
Maybe a bit too honestly now.
セナってば逃避行から帰ってきたら言いたい放題になってるね。さて、はるかとモカが戻ってくる前に私も仕事を片付けちゃおうかな。
I got your back. Ready at any time. I don't know.
了解。それじゃあ5、4、3、2、1。
I followed Kaori's countdown and unleashed Augment at the right time. はははははは。
外壁の外。
Yukinami looked around, clearly dazed. The hypnosis seemed to wear off after we told him the truth.
僕に催眠なんかかけてどうするつもり？戦う気がないって言ってたけど、まさか僕を捕まえるつもり？
Kinda.
卑怯者！
Yukinami glared down at us and braced up his fist in one swift movement. In the next instant, a fierce gale rushed around us. What the fuck happened to him? What the fuck happened to him? He just got fucking yoinked! Yukinami screamed as a special net ensnared him in the vectors. They flailed as they fell into one another.
なんなのこれ？力が使えないんだけど。
It's a net of pure love, bitch!
対能力者用の捕獲装置。サイコキネシスのエネルギーを感知して作動。一定量の力を吸収する設計になってる。
What the fuck happened?
すごいやろ。香りがマインドオペレートをかけてる間にうちとはるかで仕掛けておいたんやで。
I love, yeah, we just did that. We had that ability?
いいよ。だったら僕の爪で切り裂いて。くそ、なんでびくともしない。
The robust net withstood Yukinami's sharp claws, and he simply bobbed around, suspended in midair. We don't have to wait long, though. This is the moment of truth. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught sight of Senna's pigtails swaying as she moved towards Yukinami, making it easier to speak with him.
もうシータを襲わないと約束するなら悪いようにはしませんわ。
Well, that takes care of 1 out of 3, but I guess that's enough.
何それ？交換条件ってやつ？そんなの僕が受け入れるわけないじゃん。
Maybe I'll spit on you, sir. I'll spit on you and turn you back into a human.
でしたら、しかるべき場所に連れて行くだけですわ。二度と外に出られないでしょうけれど、
okay, this is...
衣食住は保証しますので、ご安心してください。
If you don't, we'll trap you.
そこで思う存分、他の害獣と遊んでくださいな。
Okay.
遊び相手が欲しい。自分に構ってほしいと。そう。
Seeing how serious Senna was, Yukinami gulped audibly, looking around completely overwhelmed.
さあ、どちらを選びます？
どうせ。
Yukinami looked down as he mumbled, his voice turning to ice. Yukinami? What's got into him? Could the net have absorbed too much of his powers? Worry crept over me as I tried to look at Yukinami's face, but he suddenly let out a piercing scream.
やだ！ここから出せよ！どうせ研究エリアに連れて行くんでしょ。この網だってあいつらが作ったに決まってる。
Interesting response.
勝手なことばっかり。ふざけるな！
Well, alright then. Yukinami howled and tried to tear through the net, repeatedly slashing out with his claws. Vectors whimpered, signaling that they also understood the gravity of the situation. That does add that these are escaped experiments. They seemed concerned about Yukinami, but he didn't pay any attention to them. Yukinami, calm down. The net will only hurt you if you keep attacking it.
僕とお前の何が違うっていうの？
Yep, here it is. Yukinami cut me off. He gripped the net tightly and brought his face closer to Senna's.
どうして僕はそっち側になれないの？僕はただ僕のことを見てほしいって誰かに必要とされたいって思ってるだけなのに。
They're foils. They're narrative foils. Oh, they're foils. They're narrative foils. Yukinami's painful cries called up an image of Kamui in my head. Do we need to talk about that
俺は
cry?
プロジェクトから降りないよ。みんなが
Okay, we don't need to call back to that. That's right, Yukinami and Kamui both. Yukinami bawled like a child. Senna looked up at him and bit her lip, conflicted.
この状態じゃ交渉を続けるのは無理だね。もう一度マインドオペレートを使って人を襲わないように暗示をかけてから解放しようか。
Couldn't we not have done that from the very beginning? Actually, wait, could we not have done that from the very beginning? Just cast hypnosis on them? To, make them not attack? That seems like it's pretty OP.
マインドオペレートを使うのは待ってもらえるかな。
Moravia. Oh, and Hyuga. We heard a voice from above. I gasped and turned to see Hyuga and Moravia just as we'd expected. Well, it was more that Senna predicted it. She informed us that Moravia would come if we captured Yukinami. But she didn't mention Hyuga, so I assume he was an unpredictable factor. So this was all Senna saw. We don't know what'll happen from here on out. Yeah. So I'll simply have to move forward the way that I think is best. Isn't that right, Lisa? I'd calm my trembling legs to step forward. Let's negotiate, Moravia.
は？あんた、急に何言って？
Yeah. We'll release Yukinami if you promise to never attack the colony again. What do you say? It was a major gamble, but I had to try.
それが君の答えなんだね。
おい、あいつらの口車に乗ってやる気か。交渉だの約束だの聞こえのいいことを言っているが、力ずくで網ごと雪並みを持って帰れば済む話だ。いや、せっかく外壁の外までのこのこ出てきたんだ。
Maybe not.
こいつらが動けなくなるのを待つだけでもいい。そもそも本当に守る気があるのか？どうせこいつらに権限なんてない。上の奴らにいいように食い物にされるだけだ。
He had a point, but that didn't stop Mokum from firing back an angry retort.
好き勝手いいなよ。うちらからしたらあんたらの方こそ信用できひんやからな。
まあこうなると思ったよね。
I don't know.
どう収拾つけるつもり？
Howdy stepped in front of Mocha and shot me an exasperated look. We really should release Yukinami in a show of good faith, but Mocha and the others would never agree to that. But I'm not going to give up. I want to try to continue to negotiate. Senna, what do you think?
そうですわね。
Senna blinked slowly in concentration, staring at Moravia and Hyuga all the while. She'd been silent ever since Moravia and Hyuga had come on the scene. It was as if she was observing them.
打ち合わせでは特に言ってなかったけど、モラビアが来ることを予知していた以上、何か策があったはず。違う？
ええ、そうなんですけど、彼女に先を越されちゃいましたので。
Yeah, we did come to make friends. Oh, what? You're planning on doing the same thing?
意外でした。でも、みんなが教えてくれたんですのよ。モラビアとは意思疎通できそうだった。
We're in love and our brains are starting to sync. Oh, right. Back when Moravia was looking for Yukinami. She said the dinner will be ready. And we were like, what? We talked to her. Moravia believed us when we told her that Yukinami was already gone and she left without fighting.
あの時、私は力の使いすぎで意識混濁状態でしたから、また聞きでしかないんですけど。でも、大切な仲間がそう言うからには、私も可能性にかけてみたいと思ったんです。
Senna smiled broadly and turned her gaze towards Moravia.
そう。ずいぶん大胆な賭けだね。
Moravia held Senna's gaze, a playful smile on her lips. She seemed to be enjoying this.
いいよ。その賭けに乗ろう。口約束だけでは心配だということなら、僕らにマインドオペレートをかけても構わない。ヒューガもそれでいいね。
Why does that sound good?
俺は。いや、わかった。
Hyuga simply nodded, even though he looked like he wanted to put up a fight. But then he snapped at us, unable to hold back.
仲良しごっこも結構だが、お前ら、他の連中にはなんて言い訳するつもりだ？ 自分たちの預かり知らないところで正義の味方気取りが勝手に無謀な策を講じた挙句。
変なことを気にするね、ヒューガ。
What? Yeah, why is he
そんな
worried
の
about
僕
that?
らの知ったことじゃないだろ。
Perhaps Moravia finally convinced him because Hyuga didn't say anything more.
それでは順番にマインドオペレートをかけるので、こちらに降りてきていただけます？
構わないよ。それで気が済むんだろ。
I'm lost! Moravia nodded and slowly started to descend. Hyuga waited a few moments before following her.
こんなことをしたところで蛇口の水は止まらないんだけれどね。
What? Moravia whispered that right before Coyote's hypnosis hit her. So we don't have to worry about the vectors anymore? I posed that question to the others as we watched Moravia walk away.
この先ずっとってわけにはいかんやろな。
それでも一定期間の安全は確保したはず。
I'm so confused.
体制を立て直す意味でも貴重な時間は
I
稼げ
guess
た。
that was a there's two sides to every story. That kind of stuff, but
私たちにはまだ上層部とかいうくっそめんどくさい相手がいるしね。稼いだ時間でどうにかやり込めないと。
yeah. I guess that's why you have to do more endings and see all the sides of the story. Howdy clenched her fist with determination. Milk and Haruka nodded resolutely in agreement, which helped to assuage my fears. It's gonna take a lot of work. Let's head back to the command center.
指令室には先に戻っていてくださいな。
Oh, then would you mind if I went with you? I wouldn't want you to be by yourself.
ええ、私からもお願いしますわ。
I think
あなたの力が必要なんです。
I think Cowdy gave her a paper that had a location on it. She's going to the location to find out more about her parents. Like, you need me to use augment?
詳しい話は向こうについてからにしましょう。
Yeah, I mean, well, in Ayuba's, we literally killed Hyuga, so... After that, Cowdy and the others repeatedly asked Senna what was going on, but she wouldn't say anything more. Yeah, and I wouldn't find out just how much she needed my help until we got to the residential district. What? Why have they not picked up the train? Yeah. We bid farewell to the others, and by the time we arrived in the residential district, it was already past midnight. It was the darkest time of night, and we didn't see a soul as we strolled down the street. All was quiet as the town waited for the sun to rise.
カレーの匂いだ。
How? It's midnight. They are not cooking now. Yeah, it's art. Calmly sniffed the air and gave a small laugh.
いいな。どこの家だろう。カレーは一晩寝かせても美味しいよね。
Yeah, a family of raccoons now lives there, and we're unable to remove them. So, you know, that's how it is. You know, true, there might not be. We've never talked anything about animals. We've not mentioned animals at all. The buildings around us still showed signs of damage from the vector attacks, but Kamui smiled as if that was a distant memory.
どうしたの?
He said something just like that when we visited Mr. Zenji for the first time.
ああ、そういえばそうだったかも。確かあの時もカレーの匂いがしてたよね。
So are we not gonna talk about the whole he's in love with me and I'm in love with him thing? Because like we touched on that pretty early in Ayumu's route. But Kamui let out a hearty laugh, but fatigue clearly showed on his face. His transformation came undone, which just proves how exhausted he is.
朝日が昇る前に戻ってこられてよかったですわ。まだこの時間帯なら皆さん。
Senna, your transformation.
ここからは俺と君だけだし、少しの間変身を解いちゃってもいいよね。
Yeah, and Kaori knows it too.
Oh.
え、なんでそこで沈黙？サイバル先輩よりセナと一緒にいたかったですなんて言わないよね。俺、君にそんなこと言われたら絶対間違いなく嫉妬するもん。いや、まあどっちも自分なんだけどさ。
Yeah. He said he undid his transformation on purpose, but the truth is... I didn't want to follow that thought any further, and shook my head to cast off whatever ominous feelings lingered in my mind, I guess.
Kamui, Can you tell me what's going on now? I assumed you wanted to stop by Mr. Zenji's house, but that's not it, is it? If you were just going to visit your grandfather, you wouldn't need my augment ability. And why separate from the others? What do you need my powers for? Kamui just smiled wryly in response.
何から話せばいいかな。
Uh-huh. Kamui stood still, his gaze wandering aimlessly over the ground.
Is it that difficult to talk about? Worry and impatience crept over me, as if I were being slowly burned.
I guess this could be considered a slow burn romance, except we're both dense as fuck, so...
君ももう気づいてると思うんだけど。
Yeah. He wants great-grandkids now!
After a long pause, Kamui started talking in a quiet voice.
俺の能力
Oh.
消えかかってるんだ。
Oh, we're...
好きな人ができたから。
Ah, it's coming up.
それでさ、俺思ったんだ。完全に消えてなくなってしまう前に、もう一度この力をみんなのために使いたいって。
He didn't give me a moment to respond and barreled on through cheerfully.
Kamui said that he was in love, but he's not saying anything directly or letting me get a word in edgewise. Yeah. Falling in love causes us to lose our powers, so he was making the right decision. I understood that logically, but it still made my heart hurt so much I thought I'd cry.
俺の一方的な自己満足だって分かってる。でも、みんながセナを必要としてくれたことが本当に嬉しかったんだ。
Why?
ごめん。なんて
Why are you trying to use up your powers? They might be vanishing, but you still have some time. Before I knew it, my frustration spilled over and I couldn't help but yell. Are all those people that important to you? Yes, your foresight protected everyone from the vectors, and people need you as a member of the Blooms. But you're not just Senna. You're Kamui, too. Have you forgotten about all the people who need him?
I love that we're yelling this in the middle of a fucking neighborhood.
Please tell me that's not true. I looked up at Kamui, hoping he'd tell me I was wrong.
そうだね。そうかもしれない。おとなしく謹慎してた頃の俺なら、多くの人から必要とされるセナのことを優先しちゃってたと思う。
And now? My voice trembled and came out as barely more than a whisper. Kamui gently smiled at me.
ブルームズの一員のセナだけじゃなくて、ただのサイバラカムイも大切にしたいと思ってるよ。ねえ、雪並みにマインドオペレートをかける前にセナが言ったこと覚えてる？
No, I actually don't.
あの時は謙遜されちゃったけど、香りのマインドオペレートを使った作戦を思いついたのは本当に君のおかげなんだ。
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, he was like, yeah, I came up with this plan because of Prince. I was like, what the fuck you talking about?
今までは自分が愛されることにばっかり必死で、周囲にはセナの余地こそが作戦の要なんだって思っててほしかったんだよね。
Oh, posture check? Thank you, Phantom. I am shrimping. I'm shrimping pretty hard.
こんなこと言ったら幻滅されるかもだけど、力を使って疲労困憊になるほど、ある意味美味しい立場だなとさえ思ってたっていうか。
Yeah, that's just masochism, baby.
自分でも呆れるくらい独占欲丸出しで、何でも一人で背負い込もうとしちゃってさ。その結果が謹慎なんて。
I don't know.
本当。
My knowledge of irony has been ruined by the song.
Kamui flushed a self-deprecating smile as he chastised himself.
心底、自分で自分が嫌になったよ。それなのに、それでもブルームズのみんなは誰も俺を見捨てずにいてくれた。
Okay.
Of course I didn't. Kamui smiled at my impassioned response.
君はそう言ってくれるけど、俺には天変地異レベルの驚きだったんだ。それに、俺、
Whoops. Oh my god, please, sir,
君は
stop
そう言ってくれ
pausing
る
in
けど、
your speech!
俺には天変地異レベルの驚きだったんだ。それに、すっごく嬉しかった。
Why would you put your shirt on a surfboard?
So, Tanaka, are you tired? Are you
You're starting to sound like me when I get that. My brain goes.
俺ブルームズのみんなが好きだよ。
You mean an ironing board?
大切な仲間で信頼してる。だから可能性に希望にかけようと思えた。
I guess they kind of do. I guess.
自分を 100% 信じきるのは難しくても、ブルームズの5人だったらうまくやれるって予感が、直感したんだよね。
No foresight necessary?
いざという時の直感は予知よりずっと正確だったりするからね。
Calmly grinned broadly as I teased him. He had such an innocent, bright smile. I've never seen him smile like that before.
でね、俺の直感が言うわけですよ。能力が消えてなくなるのは避けられないんだし、だったら最後にやりたいようにやればって。
Okay, do what I want while I can.
自己満足とか自己犠牲とか善意の押し付け人によって受け取り方は違うと思うけど、俺としては自分にやれることがあるんだったらやれる範囲でやれることをやるってだけだよ。なんてかっこつけすぎちゃったかな。でもまあ全部本心なんだけど。マジで。
I love you, baby. I'm getting sleepy. Can we speed this up? Kamui laughed as he said this. There wasn't any trace of despair in his voice.
Kamui, if that's truly what you want, then I'd like to help.
やった。ありがとう。
I didn't follow it either. This feels like the end of Shin's route, where I was sitting there going, "What the fuck?"
So, what are you going to use foresight for?
なんだと思う？正解は害獣の襲ってこない未来でした。
That's a great idea, actually, baby.
コロニーのみんなからすれば、セナが何度も予知を外したかと思ったら、急に放送もなくなったわけじゃない？そんな状況でも害獣の侵入は続くし、自分たちが暮らす街は破壊されるし、ブルームズとは違って害獣と戦う術もないのに。
Yes. So you think if you predict a future where the vectors aren't attacking, you'll alleviate their fears? I guess you just do that?
どうだろう。
I don't understand your powers, honey.
今さらセナが出てきて予知を伝えても、みんなは逆に不安があるんじゃないかな。
Okay.
やるなら別の方法がいいと思うんだ。
I'm confused. Kamui flashed me a wry smile and I realized I'd gotten it wrong. But it wasn't the sort of thing you'd apologize for, so I simply nodded for him to continue.
テレパシーっていうのかな。セナが予知したイメージを共有するみたいにみんなに届けられたらなって。
I guess if you think your city is gonna be destroyed and then someone goes, "Hey, I know it's gonna be fine in like a month," but then this is like better than nothing, but it's not much better.
目覚める前の夢か現実かわからないこの時間なら、イメージも受け取ってもらいやすいと思う。
Okay, I'm confused.
実際にどこまで届くかわからないけど。
Okay, cool. It needs my augment. Just wait a minute. I interrupted, needing a moment to process all of this information. Thank you, Game Prince, for being just as confused.
Even with augment, if you do this, you'll lose. I couldn't bring myself to finish my sentence and cast my gaze downward.
そうだね。副作用で記憶を失っちゃうかも。
Oh my god.
He said it with such nonchalance that I felt anger begin to bubble up inside me. I glared at him. Calmly! You have to take this seriously! But I could see that he was completely serious. The rest of my words died on my lips.
大丈夫。君と一緒なら。
Yeah, he'll lose his memories, we'll kiss and he'll get him back. Okay, cool, fine.
それに、もし記憶が消えてしまっても、何度でも思い出させてくれるんでしょ？
Yeah, I'll spit on you, baby. I couldn't argue with him there. Okay, I guess we're doing this. Yeah, okay, I'll lend you my strength. Okay.
あの言葉があったから、俺は気づかないふりをしてた本心が言えたんだ。まだ戦いたいって。状況は変わっちゃったけど、約束はまだ有効かな。
Me neither. Yeah, I'm not pretending to be confused. I'm genuinely fucking confused. I'd be lying if I said I had no qualms about this, but I decided to never let him go. Yes, of course. I nodded, took Kami by the hand and squeezed. Oops, that's him, sorry. He squeezed back, smiled, but I noticed his voice and fingers were shaking ever so slightly, like he was about to cry. Seeing him like that caused a pain to shoot through my heart. Tears sprung to my eyes. I have to snap out of this. Now's not the time for tears. And if I have to cry, it should be out of happiness. No, what? Confusion. Delay. That was what I told myself as I slowly unleashed augment. A faint light enveloped Kami, and in the next moment, instant Senna stood before me.
さあさあ、最後の大仕事ですわよ。張り切っていきましょう。
This feels like it. Yeah. I'm so fucking confused. Night was coming to an end. I closed my eyes and matched in his breathing. I could feel heat was at his hand, and in the next moment, I felt a strange presence as an image passed through me. And a town with no vectors, people laughing, ordinary days passing by in happiness. Images like that continuously came into my mind, flowing through me. So this is what Senna sees as the future. I heard a pained sigh and the images flickered out. In the next moment, Senna leaned on my shoulder, drawing in shallow breaths. She's close to her limit. Come on, Senna, you can do it. Just hang on. I said a small prayer and charged more power into my fingers as I continued to cast Augment, which I had not practiced until now. I don't know. Then a brilliant light flashed, blinding me. I couldn't see or hear anything. I didn't even know where I was standing. It was as if I had been catapulted into space. Shut the fuck up.
聞こえが目を開けてくださいな。もう終わりましたわ。
Okay, that's Senna's voice. Cool. I slowly blinked open my eyes and saw the morning sun rising in the sky. What the fuck was that, Senna? A comforting, warm light seeped into my body, and I saw Senna looking at me, concern evident on her face.
よかった。
Yeah, I just passed out for a bit, don't worry. Senna, your foresight, I was able to. My voice was hoarse from overusing my power, and I couldn't finish what I wanted to say. But Senna knew what I was getting at and nodded immediately in response.
ええ、ライフロットのイメージは伝わったはずです。
Cool, thanks.
ありがとう。あなたのおかげですわ。
You still have your memories, so what? Senna smiled, but something about her seemed so fragile, as if she could vanish in an instant. No, she really will vanish. Senna's figure blurred, and I knew her time had come.
今まで楽しかったですわ。
What?
私のこと。
Senna, right? Like, not Kamui. Senna's gonna leave, but Kamui's alive, yeah? Of course. Tears flowed freely down my face. I wanted to burn her image in my mind, but my vision was blurry. We still get Kamui! Senna used up all her powers. Oh, and so her transformation came undone, she turned back into Kamui. Kamui pitched forward and fell to his knees unconscious. Fuck me. Oh my god. Oh, we don't even get to kiss! We don't even get to kiss him! I guess. Yeah, that's the opposite of what Haruka was, but alright.
Kamui.
I quickly reached for him and tried to hold him up, slowly laying his head in my lap.
Kamui, say something.
His eyelids fluttered slightly when I called to him.
Please.
君
Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, clown girl! It's you, the clown from my dreams!
涙って本当にしょっぱいんだね。
What the fuck? Quick clown girl piss on him! No! No! There will be no piss tonight! No! No piss! We're clawing onto his face and I guess he's licking the tears. What?
泣かせてごめん。
Oh! I finally realized tears are streaming down my cheeks. They dropped onto Kamui's eyelids and ran down his cheeks to his lips, glistening in the morning sunlight. That's weird.
もう泣かないで。
Don't cry. I feel like that's a little hard. Kamui tenderly caressed my cheek and then moved to stroke my hair. Hi, I'm alive. I still have powers. This is fucky. I leaned forward, right as Kamui's hand gently pulled me close. Oh, we do get to kissy. I pressed my lips to his, my emotions surging forth. I tried to convey all I felt for him in that single kiss. It was probably due to my tears, but I tasted a little bit of salt mixed with a hint of sadness. Cool. Don't cry about me. Ruined.
誰かの手を離さずにいられるって、こんなに幸せなことだったんだね。
I'm glad. Tommy laughed with a happy sigh. His breathing grew quiet as if he were at rest, and he thought for a moment, blinking slowly.
俺も忘れたくないよ。君のこと。
You better fucking not. I found myself without words, so I just grasped Kamui's hand as tightly as I could. Oh, cool. Then the same story dominated the news cycle the next few days. All the residents in Theta had had the same dream. It sounded utterly absurd. He was. His head is in our lap and we went clunk. We must have a very flexible neck, though, because that hurt.
And then, just yesterday, the government announced a shocking report. Thanks to the amazing efforts of the Special Forces, the Blooms, the entire pack of Vectors had been defeated. There was a chance a new group could be discovered, but the government was going to enact more countermeasures and provide additional security. The announcement was a blend of truth and lies, and left me with mixed feelings about everything. But the people in town thought Senna had shown them a prophetic dream, and I had a change of heart when I heard how overjoyed they were. Sure?
俺としては
Everyone deserves hope. Yeah, the government did absolutely jack shit, as usual. This is what Kamui meant. It's why he used up all his powers to share foresight with them. I know I'll never see Senna again, but our life will continue on. Yep.
Ohayo.
Good morning to you too.
今日もダメだったか。やっぱりあれは俺の幻聴だったのかな。
What? Kamui was at golden retriever levels of energy today, and I had no idea what he was talking about. I know from past experience that I shouldn't even ask, but what are you talking about? Curiosity got the better of me, and I asked anyway. Kamui gave me a bright smile as if he'd been waiting for this moment.
そうだ、本人に聞くのが一番だよね。前に君、俺のことカムイ先輩って名前で呼んでくれたよね。
Oh my god, that's how they fucking localized that? That's amazing. Oh my god, Zetetica, listen to this line.
そうだ、本人に聞くのが一番だよね。前に君、俺のことカムイ先輩って名前で呼んでくれたよね。
Kamui senpai! We've been calling him just Kamui. And they localized it to holding hands. I can't.
Well.
すっごく嬉しかったんだけど、あれ以来一度も呼ばれたことなくて。
Oh no, we called him Kamui senpai.
やっぱり幻聴だったんだと思う？
Yeah, verbally holding their hand. I mean, I guess that would be hard to localize, but it does make me giggle understanding what he's saying. But yeah, I guess we called him Kamui senpai a couple times instead of, Saibara-san. Yeah, lewd. Kamui peered into my face, a playful twinkle in his eyes. It's true I held his hand before when it really mattered, but Kamui knew that. Sure. Held his hand. Definitely didn't call him by his name. His memory was still perfectly intact. With the commander present, researchers had checked Kamui over and said his good health was practically a miracle. Senna had depleted all her powers, and then some. By their calculation, her lifespan should have been shortened on top of losing all her memories. Well, that's a new one. Okay.
俺たち奇跡を起こしちゃったんだ。
Thanks for just throwing that out there, game.
なんてね。実際は君のおかげだと思うよ。それだけブーストの力はすごいんだ。だから司令たちも言ってたけど、あの時俺と一緒にいたことは内緒だよ。研究。
Okay, yeah, they'd want to experiment on me. Please, Kamui, I love you. I need to sleep. I took Kamui's advice, kept my involvement a secret. As for our work with the Blooms, we were just having regular meetings for the time being.
それとも、もしかして周りに遠慮してるとか？全然気にしないでいいのに。
Oh my god. I know I'm not streaming tomorrow, game, but please. Yes, people who didn't hear my first, I announced this at the beginning of stream. I will not be able to stream tomorrow as I will be spending most of the day with my Earth parents. But I will be able to stream Monday and Tuesday. Monday will probably be 13 Sentinels, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm going to stream on Tuesday. We'll figure it out. Yeah, don't worry about them. Kami flashed me an innocent smile, but I could sense the other girls around us shooting daggers at me.
I'll think about it.
それって遠回しなお断りだよね。
Are we really not dating already?
君と仲良くなれたと思ったのは俺だけだったのかな。
Kami slumped dejectedly and looked at me like he wanted to say something. What's wrong?
いや、ね。
Kami glanced around while mumbling something unintelligible. Kami, something wrong?
分かったなと思って。
What?
君のブーストの力は全然消える気配がなかったなって。
Oh my god, we bring this up now? Kami whispered to make sure no one else heard him. I lowered my voice as well. You know, you're right.
今でもそうなの？
His voice sounded full of determination, but I wasn't quite sure what he was driving at. I think so? I haven't used it since that day, so I don't know for sure.
やっぱそっか。
What? Kami heaved a huge sigh and leaned forward, placing his hand on his knees. Are you okay?
大丈夫。大丈夫です。
You are not totally fine, sir. What happens if you augment a normal person? I don't think you can. We aren't allowed to be around normal people. In our forms. Because people aren't really supposed to know we even exist. You don't look fine.
ほんと。俺もまだまだ頑張らなきゃなって決意を新たにしたところだからね。
Oh, sorry, I have to stand up and adjust myself again. Ugh. The problem with adjusting my sitting position all the time is that my pants do love to get absolutely tangled up under my ass. So I'll have to keep at it. Kami looked up at me with a fearless smile.
いやあ、俺の恋路はまだまだ長いな。
Wait! We're ending it without us saying we love each other? Oh god, what?
え?
Oh, nothing. He said long and winding. Does he think I don't share his feelings? Oh my fucking god. Oh right, he never officially told me how he feels. We kissed, but Kami's still acting like he did before. Oh my god.
どうかした?
Well, I've just renewed my resolve to keep at it.
Despite I declared my intentions with a grin, he stared back at me blankly for a moment and then he laughed.
お互い頑張ろうね。
What the fuck is going on? Are we both traveling in parallel fucking directions?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I responded with enthusiasm and took hold of his hand.
You better hurry or we'll be late.
そうだね。行こっか。
God, we are both dumbasses. Oh, he's never confessed to me, and I've never told him that I like him too. Oh my god. Kami dropped my hand for a moment and then grasped it once more, intertwining our fingers. I looked up at him, surprised. Our eyes met and he returned my gaze with a shy smile.
放課後、じいちゃんの家に顔を出すんだけど、
Oh my god.
一緒に来てくれる?
Sure. Absolutely. I've been hoping you asked. I mean, of course I'll go.
うん、楽しみにしてるね。
Kami's laughter echoed beneath the blue sky. Seems his bashfulness only lasted a second. I laughed along with him and squeezed his hand. I love you, Kami, as I do not say this out loud. Yeah, we can have another date in the ruined train. I didn't have the courage to say it out loud yet, but in my heart, I told him exactly how I felt. Sure. I swore to myself with every breath I took, I'd never let go of his hand. Cool. Wonderful. That is the... Why is the romance like a sprinkle on top? Enough. A new option has been added to the villainous justice common route. What the fuck do you mean by that? What the fuck do you mean by that? The villainous justice common route? I guess, is that this? I guess that's this. I have no fucking clue.
レポート
Well, let's look at our Kamui. Oh yeah, that's right. We gotta get the other CGs, and then we'll probably get a something CG. That was extremely odd. Yeah, that one really did feel more like it was setting up the rest of the story, while Yumu's was like, yeah, this is an end. Yeah. Alright, so I guess we'll decide next, whether we're doing Mihaya or Tokyo when we play this game next. For right now, that's all the time we have for tonight. Oh my god, that went way longer than I expected, but we finished Kamui. So let me pop over here. You all know the usual song and dance. If you're not, follow me on social medias. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I want to sleep too. Oh my god. Yay, Kamui done. We are now, we're now officially a third done with this game, I believe. I will. There's 8 routes and we finished 2. Yeah, there's 8 routes and we finished 2. So, we're a third done with this game. Crazy to think that. But yeah. Oh, a 4th. Yes, I did my math wrong. Thank you. Thank you, Zatotica. 2, 8. This is a 4th, yes. Yep, yeah, I should go to bed. Thank you everybody so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I will be able to see you Monday as we do some more 13 Sentinels. All right, well, I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is for you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Yeah. All right, well, without any further ado, bye-bye.